passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Frankie drives end-to-end, scoops it up and in with 2 seconds left. Frankie Collins end-to-end. Join the action at Desert Financial Arena and catch the final home matchups with Stanford and Cal as Pac-12 Conference foes. Collins over to Lance for 3. Bullseye! Get your tickets today by calling 480-965-5812 or go online to sundeviltickets.com. Sun Devil men's basketball. Onward to victory.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Just in time for the NFL playoffs, Salt Creek Furniture has a fantastic sale. We're moving our Glendale store at 8078 West Bell Road, and the entire store is up to 50% off. It's crazy. $5,000 sectionals for just $2,500. Recliners, sofas, and so much more at prices that are sacking the competition. Salt Creek Furniture, 4 Valley locations. See it all at saltcreekhomefurniture.com. saltcreekhomefurniture.com.
We all know driving hammered gets you nailed, but did you also know driving high is a DUI? I'm Officer Badalucco with the Gilbert Police Department. Anything that impairs your driving makes you dangerous on the road. If you feel different, you drive different, and driving high is illegal. Be smart with marijuana use. Get the facts at drivinghighaz.com and spread the word with #HighDUI. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting at K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM. Live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Quiet, people, settle down.
Because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Monday here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. Got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. Well, it was a nice run. And what I mean is it was a nice run of 49er fans not being obnoxious and loud. Because now, they've gotten their pride back. Now they've gotten their gumption up, and now all we're going to hear is just from these 49er fans. Remember how long we had to suffer the damn 49er fans until we finally kind of smacked them down, and then they were kind of like, okay. Yeah. Well, no. Now they're going to be nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble, Randy.
I'm sure, but I look. The only warning I have here is just be prepared to take what you can dish, because if you should so happen to lose the Super Bowl, we will be insufferable, and there's going to be no shame in it. Yeah. Just none whatsoever.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, look, you got to give them props though, coming back 17 points down, and
holy crap, right?
I don't know what I'm not sure. I was watching the game yesterday, just kind of feeling like in the second half, what's happening here? Suddenly, nobody can catch. But yeah, I think you're right. Niner fans are going to be loud and proud today.
Well, so here's what we're gonna do. I think we'll wait a minute till everybody comes to the table before we start talking about the games from yesterday. They were amazing fun though. Lots of fun stuff that just I can't even understand what happened, why it happened, how it happened. Some amazing things.
Oh yeah.
You know, you got old Lamar Jackson throwing himself a pass, and it's perfectly legal.
Oh yeah.
You got Brandon Ayuk, grabbing a pass that bounced off the defender that should have been an interception, and it's like, oh, all right, I guess this is happening.
Yeah.
Lots of crazy crap happened, and it was a lot of fun. So anyway, listen, we will get to that. But first, let's just all appreciate that today is Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day. Do you love the bubble wrap? Oh, I love the bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap's great.
Can't
Miss
find
Kim
too much
loves the
of these
bubble
days,
wrap.
though. They say, according to scientists, that 1 minute spent popping bubble wrap relieves as much stress as a 33-minute massage.
No kidding.
I can believe that.
Probably reputable massage. I think that is the thing they probably should have.
Yeah, like
I think
from
that
Massage
is,
Envy, not from Rosie's Massage Parlor,
Jupiter, Florida.
Right.
Anyway, so it's a Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day, and listen, we've got some stuff to talk about sports-wise that isn't football. Real quick, the Phoenix Suns, they lost to the Orlando Magic, 113-98. Devin Booker had a 44-point game, and I'm just like, well, what's with them putting all these points up in these games either being close or bad? So they won like 7 or something in a row, and then they lost 2 in a row. Somebody tell me the hell is going on with the Phoenix Suns, because I still am not sure what I'm looking at here.
Well, just some of the problems that it seemed like they put behind them are back. One, inability to close out games in the fourth quarter. It just seems like they get to the fourth quarter and
they closed out 7 of them in a row. Why now are they back to their bad ways?
Well, that is the thing that I can't tell you exactly, but I'm willing to bet that the point number 2 is related to that, which is that the turnovers are back, and the turnovers are back a lot. The game against Orlando, they had 22 turnovers. There's no basketball game on earth that you are winning easily if you give the other team the ball 22 times.
Well, and also I still say it's a thing for this team. Turnovers is a huge issue they're going to have to look at. And secondly, sharing the ball, moving the ball around, giving everybody an opportunity, because otherwise teams are going to figure out how to defend 3 guys. And if one guy's off that night, you've just made their night even easier to defend you. So they've got to get the ball around. I mean, some of the other players have got to score. You'd like to see more than just 3 or 4 guys a night scoring in double figures. You'd like to see a whole bunch of guys scoring in double figures, because that means you're taking the roof off the sucker.
But
and what I've noticed that nobody's talked about yet is the turnover problem. There's a lot of turnovers, and then nobody's talked about how maybe we need to move the ball around more and get more people involved. So I guess maybe I should have started.
You probably should have. Yeah,
but
turnovers and
again,
moving the ball. Yeah,
already double-digit turnovers, not good. But the Pacers game, 20 turnovers. Magic game, 22. So over the 2 games that you lost, you had a combined 42 turnovers. I'm sorry. And these are not against bad teams. The Pacers are a quality team. The Magic, surprisingly, and it's weird to say, but they've been building that team and they have good players on it. You can't give them the ball 22 times and win the game. You just can't.
Yeah.
So how long is it going to be till Yusuf Nurkic is back? I know he's out because he's got a sprained left thumb. I feel like they could probably use his help in there. They're playing Miami tonight, by the way. I don't know if he's in or out of the lineup.
Yeah, he's going to be questionable for tonight, so we don't know if he actually is going to be able to go. Looks like it's going to be a game time decision.
All right. 888-368-1580. Heavy Metal Maniac says, hey, did you see that I can't say them, but I will say this will give you a hint of who they are. Roided Up Lawyers Association. They put a billboard up, I guess, saying "Go Brock Purdy," and some people here are pissed off, is what Heavy Metal Maniacs is saying. Yeah. But here's the thing: why would anybody be angry about that? Brock Purdy is a local boy, and look at him go. I mean, he's he didn't play great yesterday, but I mean, he's competent. He's poised. He didn't
play great.
No,
I
he
thought
didn't
he
play
played
great.
amazing.
He played okay. We'll talk about it later.
There were points.
Yeah. So, I'm not trying to tear him down. Don't get that wrong. But no, Brock Purdy, local boy made good. Absolutely. Why wouldn't you put up a billboard that says, hey, way to go, pal? Yeah, I don't know why anybody be mad at that.
You know what?
So,
I don't know why somebody would be angry about that. Listen, if the Cardinals would just do something, they'd put up something, go Cards.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
just saying.
It's just that's the that it does depend on how you feel though, because there are some people where it's like I don't care that you grew up around here. If you play for a divisional rival, best of luck to you, but you're dead to me. That there are some people that are like that.
People are dumb.
I get that, but you know what? It's the same thing about the bat flip conversation that we're always having on this show about these guys that stand up there and they pimp their home runs. They stand there and watch the home runs go over the fence, and then they start walking and they flip their bat. And the argument is, well, if you don't like it, strike the guy out or get him out. If you don't like Brock Purdy being on the billboards, then Cardinals do something about it. Yeah. Get the Cardinals to do something about it.
Well, good luck.
I mean, if the Cardinals were the ones playing yesterday against Brock Purdy and the 49ers, do you think the Roided Lawyers Association is going to put up a sign that says "Go Brock Purdy"? I don't think so.
No, that'd be crazy. That would be crazy. We might say, hey, it's a shame it has to be Brock Purdy, but go Cardinals, go beat them 49ers, But I think we're a ways away from having to worry about that.
No, I get it.
So
I get it, but I don't take issue with it. I mean, the guys got a hometown connection, and I applaud them for at least taking a stand for their hometown. If this is their hometown, I don't know.
I have no idea. No, I don't know. Anyway, so Suns hopefully will get their act back together and sort some things out. How long? When did Yusuf Nurkic? When did he go out with injury? You know what I'm saying? Is this because are we losing games because this one guy is not in there? Is that part of it?
No, that's not really it. It really is just some carelessness with the basketball, and there are times where it just looks like, okay, the Devin Booker, Bradley Beal point guard thing is working out, and then there are times where it's like, man, I wish they had a true point guard, like somebody who is going to protect the basketball as their number one priority,
right?
Make good decisions starting the offense, and so like that's part of it. Nurkic, I think, was out Wednesday was when he hurt his thumb.
Well, the Magic came at them defensively differently than a lot of teams do. And so the Phoenix Suns have got to start being able to identify what those are and make some in-game corrections. Is Vogel good at that sort of thing? You've told me that's a defensive coach, but is he a kind of guy who can make adjustments? Because remember, old Monty, he would make adjustments a couple weeks later from that game.
Yeah, no. Vogel is a guy that will make adjustments. I that is something that I do actually like about him a lot. But it just I don't know what else they could do because they were winning that game. Like there wasn't anything to adjust until there was. Like it was just a very they were consistently scoring every time the Magic had a basket, the Suns could answer. And then there were just a number of different plays where I personally thought, did the Magic play them defensively differently at points? Yeah, but you have to be careful with the basketball. Like that is the most important thing. You turn it over, the possession ends, and that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're careless because it's round and soft. If it was square and pointy and you could actually poke an eye out, maybe they'd be more careful with it.
Okay, but then the Magic seemed to be just fine figuring out how to take care of the basketball. They only had 7 turnovers in that game.
What if it had like pointy, razor sharp edge, little studs on it?
Would be difficult to dribble without destroying your hands. I don't know that you'd have a team.
I'm trying to help, Keon.
I understand.
You're not being very receptive or cooperative.
That is just not the most helpful suggestions.
We're going to come up with some ideas. Maybe Velcro can be involved. I don't know.
Maybe Velcro. Velcro is better than razor blades.
Hefty Lefty says on Friday, Booker joined Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan as the only players in NBA history to have multiple 60-plus point scoring games. but lose the game. Both he and Jordan have 2. Chamberlain has 11. Wow. That is stunning. But it also shows that, Booker will play some hero ball and it'd be like, oh, wow, how about that? He played hero ball, the other night, not this last game, but the game before it. And still they lost by a couple points. So, it can't be just one guy. So your question is going to be, okay, what are we doing here? If Booker is having this kind of a night and he's shooting the ball that much and he's suddenly the only offensive output we have, we've got to change something there because
to me, it's like
you can't win by that all the time.
Yeah, but to me, that's not the problem because you're scoring enough points. If he's scoring versus he passed it and somebody else scored, I don't know what the difference there is.
And everybody else has to start playing some damn defense.
Well, yes, but just to me, the turnovers are a killer because not only do you take that possession away from yourself, you give an extra one to your opponent. So now they've got more possessions than you. So you're playing defense longer because you didn't play offense very well.
All right. Well, I just feel like once we think we've got it figured out, suddenly we don't have it figured out. And by we, I mean the Phoenix Suns. So it's a little frustrating to watch. It's like, okay, do we have to wait until next season to be a good team? Is this going to be a season of education, or is this just win enough games to get to the playoffs and you should be okay?
I think that you're what you're trying to do is a little bit of both. You're trying to get that chemistry. You're trying to gel. You're trying to get that momentum, throughout the regular season, and then hopefully everything clicks and you're getting hot when you're rolling into the playoffs. That's the time to kind of figure it out. So I don't think that this is something you should plan for next year because I just don't know the championship windows stay open that long. But like when you look at the numbers, for instance, the Suns and the Magic both made 41 shots. The Suns had 73 shots. The Magic had 92. Like they're getting more opportunities. And if you play better teams and you give them more opportunities than what you have, you're losing.
888-368-1580. Let's see here. Big George says, hello, gentlemen. Happy Monday. And I'm never, ever going to read when you say, well. I'm just not doing that. And I'm not going to read the dumb, looks like someone's got cases of Mondays. Not reading those silly things. I'm just going to go right to what you say. So Big George says, the Detroit Lions coughed up a huge lead yesterday. Oh, did they? Bad luck franchise, just find ways to lose. So sad. I wanted to see Detroit win. By the way, I think Fish Tank and Donnie should have a celebrity fight. They've been going at it on Twitter. Yeah, it's just, Donnie I figured Donnie out pretty early and I bored him, basically, because I just don't get in the mud with him. And he just says stupid crap about stuff that really doesn't matter. So, the Fish Tank's going to have to just take a breath and just ignore him. He's just trolling for troll's sake. It's fine. Fish Tank is a Miami's Dolphins fan, so he doesn't even give a damn. The person who should be going toe to toe with him ought to be Boogie or something. That's where you got to see Boogie versus Donnie on the Twitterverse. Now you've got something. But no, I'm not saying Fish Tank did a bad job. I saw him get trapped. Donnie laid out the bait and Fish Tank took it. And it's just, it's entertaining to a point. And then you're like, just let him go. Let it go. Donnie is just professional troll. And I get aggravated because on this show, we never say the stuff that he says, all the guys in Phoenix are saying this and that. Like, shut up, man. We're not the ones saying that. You've never heard us say that. But outside of that,
you're listening because we don't say that.
Yeah, he's just trying to get a rise out of you. It's best to ignore him. Heavy Metal Maniac says, well, I want to know this weekend, first time I ever went undefeated on a fan pick. And, well, of course, yeah, there was only 2 games, Heavy Metal Maniac. It is also, thank you, sure, it may have been Keon that sent me this link to that after the show last week. No, that was me, Heavy Metal Maniacs. I sent you the link to that. Okay, so that was very disjointed and nobody knows what you're talking about but me, but you're welcome. Anyway, yeah, we'll talk about the picks contest and all that stuff later. My wife got annoyed with me. She was asking me about a pick. She's like, oh, I might change it to this and that. I says, you really just stick with your original gut instinct. And she's like, and I was like, maybe listen to the guy who's in first place.
Oh,
Whoops.
Whoops.
How
She's
was
like-
sleeping? How was sleeping on the couch this weekend?
Well, she was like, she's like, that's all you ever talk about. I was like, that's not true, but it's all I have.
It's not that it's all you ever talk about, but it does come up often.
It does come up often, but I mean, if you were in first place, wouldn't it come up often?
Yeah, it would be
Yes.
insufferable.
Yes. Same thing with Randy. So don't act like it wouldn't. And guess
Oh,
what?
please.
So would she. So anyway,
I'm not
she
saying you're
did.
wrong for it. I'm just saying it happens.
she got grumpy. We were watching the game. Anyway, what were we talking about?
You sleeping on the couch?
No. She likes to keep me nearby and punch me when I fall asleep. Like right when you're in that sort of hey between twilight and sleep, and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh. She's like, did you hit me? She's like, no, you were dreaming. I'm like, wow, okay. Seemed real. All right. CK says, good afternoon, fellas. Randy, beer me.
Okay.
49ers and Chiefs. I called it. Hit me with the foghorn, Randy. I don't know why he wants the foghorn.
So can we put the Super Bowl logo conspiracy to bed now?
Yeah, it's red versus red. You got nothing on the purple anymore.
Let's just put it away, please. Thank you.
Everybody can still work the Taylor Swift angle if you want to. I know people are talking, it's going to be some investigations into the officiating. Well, just make sure you do both games because there were good and bad in both games. So, but enough with the Taylor Swift. I don't want to hear it. Listen, we got to take a break. When we come back, I'll get caught up on the text line, but there's other NBA stuff. We want to talk some college basketball real fast, a variety of things before we just dive in and talk about what happened yesterday in the NFL. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Free air-chilled boneless chicken breasts and 4 juicy boneless pork chops with your order. omahasteaks.com/vsin. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NBA tonight, the Phoenix Suns are in South Florida. They're taking on the Miami Heat. Miami is a 3-point home favorite tonight, minus 148 on the money line, while Phoenix at plus 126. The over-under sits at 229.5. Other games tonight, the Lakers are in Houston to take on the Rockets. The Lakers are a 1-point road favorite, plus 112, while the Rockets minus 104. Over-under in Houston, 232. The Dallas Mavericks taking on Orlando. Dallas favored by 4 points, minus 178. Magic plus 150. Over-under is 227.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go: shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When it comes to covering the high school sports scene in Arizona, AZ Preps 365 has all the answers. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 10, they break down games, interview the newsmakers, talk with coaches from around the state, and stay up to date with what's happening with prep athletes and breaking news from the Arizona prep scene. It's AZ Preps 365, 8 till 10 Saturday mornings on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Hi, I'm Ralph Romano.
And I'm Neil Lynch.
We've been friends for over 30 years now.
Wait. Over 30 years?
Yes, you are that old. And we have a new show called The Weekend Warrior starting this Saturday.
We'll discuss national and local sports, and we'll talk about some sports that you don't hear about much.
We'll also interview local athletes, coaches, sports-related business owners, and we're going to share their stories.
We look forward to sharing these great stories and hanging out with you.
It's The Weekend Warrior starting this Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. So we've seen stories before where Giannis Antetokounmpo is notoriously cheap. Yeah, we've seen those stories, and sometimes even though you got a $1 bazillion contract, your background still hangs around on you, no matter how much money you make. I think we all have our own version of that story. And I'm not saying about being a bazillionaire, but just when you've gotten to a point in your life where you can afford to do things, and things are different than when you were younger, but you still sort of do some of the same things you do because like you were you're being careful with your money. And it's always a wise thing to be careful with your money, but it was almost laughable how careful Giannis Antetokounmpo in the past has been with his money. Well, he's not done yet, because I guess at the game the other day when the Bucks beat the Pelicans 141-117, they're just hanging out, and the benches were playing, that sort of thing. And he's sitting there and he watches, and this guy for the Pelicans, Najee Marshall, comes up and he's like, "All right, free throw time," and he shoots a free throw, misses it, and the crowd is like, "Ooh!" He's like, Giannis kind of looks around. He's like, "Well, we've already got this game in hand. Why is everybody so into this?" He's like, "All right." So then the Najee Marshall shoots another free throw, bricks it, misses, and the crowd goes wild. Giannis is like, "What the heck? What is this all about?" And then he looks up on the screen and it says, well, if anybody misses 2 free throws at the line, Wingstop has a promo where every fan in the arena gets free wings, right? So he's like, "Oh!" And he calls an assistant over. They go run to the locker room and grab his phone. He comes out and he's like taking pictures of the QR code with his phone so he can get free wings. That was the funniest thing I ever saw.
You know who we're not going to hear about being broke 20 years from now? Giannis.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's
showing up with coupons no matter how much he's got in the bank. He's like, freebie. He'll drive 68 miles to use a coupon for a free softie. I mean, it's adorable. And
you know what? Good for him. Good for him.
Look on his face, he was hanging out there feeling pretty good about the game. Like, yeah, we've won this. But you didn't see that kind of joy in his face until the free wings. He just lit up like a Christmas tree. He's like, "Oh, free wings? Are you kidding me?" And so, yeah, that was, hey, we all like free stuff. No matter how much money you get, we all like free stuff. Giannis really likes free stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone pointed out that Giannis is like your immigrant dad who just will not stop telling you how to save money and will not stop reminding you, how bad he used to have it and how willing he is to basically get every deal. And my dad was like that. My dad was an ER nurse. Like we weren't poor, but I thought we were poor my whole life. Like there was a point where we actually were, but then when we weren't, he was like, "No, we still have no money."
You never knew the difference. So it's all right.
2-story house, Dad. What is going on?
Giannis has hundreds of millions of dollars, if I'm not mistaken.
He does. And
I bet he has hundreds of millions of coupons in his big fat wallet.
I would imagine that he's probably got a drawer or drawers in his house filled with not only coupons, but the free ketchup and special sauce you get from restaurants.
He's got 2 drawers. One for the plastic silverware you get, and then the other one for the condiments.
Every time you go somewhere and they've got like a napkin holder, he just grabs like a giant handful, and he's got like drawers full of that in his house.
Couple of $100 million, and Giannis is still probably having this conversation in his own kitchen with somebody saying, the expiration date is more of a suggestion.
See, that's what I mean. That is priceless right there.
Oh, well, you should have seen the video. Oh my God, he was the happiest I think I've ever seen him when he's like looking there, getting the QR code with his camera. His eyes were all big and happy.
When they won the championship, I don't think he was that happy, and he was pretty happy.
No, he's pretty happy. He was like, yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not. It's not like free side of fries good, but it was pretty good. Yeah.
You'll never see him wear that championship ring around anywhere. He's probably got that in his safety deposit box.
Yeah. I mean, you got to keep that safe. So people noticed during the commercial break that there was a promo that we have for a new show. We kind of talked about it a little bit last week, but now people have heard the promo and they have things to say. Berg says, "Was that the dude from Harmon Solar for the Weekend Warrior show?" Yeah, that's Ralph. Him and his pal Neil doing a show. Different kind of show than this. They're just doing a thing with like prep sports and college type level stuff, and then just BS and whatever. So it's going to be a good show, I think.
So they kind of like this then.
No, good. a good show. Anyway, Baker's Cocky Hen says Ralph with his own show. That's more shocking than if the Lions had made the Super Bowl. Yeah, I guess you're probably right. Fighting Wampa says, if the Greek freak wants a free softie, tell him to go to the okay. We're not go to the strip clubs in Sun
Excuse
City.
me?
I just don't know.
Excuse me?
No. Big Ralph says, oh God, Ralph is getting his own show. But how is it hurting you, George? And now he'll really be insufferable. He had already reached a level of insufferable that getting his own show wasn't gonna
Like there's not there's not another level to that. He maxed out. He maxed out insufferable.
He's reached a level of insufferability where he can no longer.
Thought he would transcend the current level of insufferability, we just certainly wouldn't have done it. We feel like he's peaked, and it's okay.
So it's going to be prep stuff, some college stuff. That would be USC, and he's going to talk Lakers and Dodgers.
Well, that's what people are wondering. Is it going to be all about Dodgers and Lakers? We got a dump button. If we have to dump for 20 minutes, we will. It's all right.
The great thing about this is you have a remote control. You can take him off the air anytime you want.
He wouldn't even know. Till somebody maybe told him later. I can have us to CBS like that.
Yep.
I don't even have to leave the house.
And now we're going to talk about all the championships the Lakers have won. CBS Sports.
CBS Sports Radio. CK says, well, here's the Foghorn deal. Foghorn goes off after every 49ers score at home.
Do I have
to
CK? Do I have
CK? Okay. No, you don't have to. I mean,
do I have to do that, Jeffrey?
You do what you want, maybe pray about it. I don't know. CK, whatever. You may or may not get it. So Booger Wolf says, got a bit of shiver in me timbers with the Lions yesterday, but I knew the best quarterback Arizona has ever produced. I'm going to take a pause on that. Is that true? He's better than Brock Osweiler, so we know that. I mean, he's like legit Arizona, right? I don't think Brock Osweiler was.
Well, he went to Iowa State. He didn't play
Right.
here in the state. He
Thought he was
played in high
ASU.
school.
Did he?
He played.
Brock
No, he
Osweiler?
played in high school. Brock Osweiler played at ASU, but he didn't
Yeah.
come from
Right.
Arizona.
No, we're talking about like a high school kid, somebody who lived here, an
yeah,
actual
Brock-
Arizona product.
Brock Purdy came
Is
from
he it?
Arizona. Well, no, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, that's right, Ryan Fitzpatrick. What are we talking
Yeah.
about here? Okay, we're gonna have to ask Keon because we might be biased. Is Brock Purdy better than Ryan Fitzpatrick?
I mean, right now?
No, I mean if
Or-
you put Ryan, he's retired now. Of
No,
course he's-
no. I mean,
But I mean,
is
like,
Brock
at his peak.
where Brock Purdy is in his career right now? Not Ryan Fitzpatrick at this
Oh.
exact moment.
I guess. I mean, and that's all we have. That's all we have to look at. So
yeah,
if you'd have put Ryan Fitzpatrick on the 49ers, you'd be in the same situation right now, wouldn't you? Don't you think? Because Brock Purdy's not doing anything that Ryan Fitzpatrick couldn't have done.
yeah. I do think that Ryan Fitzpatrick has the more of the gunslinger mentality.
Mhm.
So it's hard to say that with that mentality, there wouldn't have been just a turnover that didn't need to happen, an interception that was.
Well, we already have that with Brock Purdy.
We do, but he's lacking experience. Ryan Fitzpatrick, at his most experienced, was still just shooting from the hip a little bit. Where I think Brock Purdy, like at Brock Purdy's peak, whatever that is, could be a much
Well, I mean, to be
I
fair,
much cleaner football player.
Ryan Fitzpatrick had to shoot from the hip. He was being hunted by the defense on almost
I
every
think-
snap.
In
But it
Shanahan's
depends on which
system, he
team, 'cause
would
he
have
played in half of them.
Shanahan would have followed. Ryan Fitzpatrick would have followed Shanahan's system, and he'd have handed off the same amount of times he was supposed to hand off to Christian McCaffrey, and he would have been throwing the ball to some better talent than he ever really had to work with in the past. Listen, I'm not trying to take anything away from Brock Purdy, but I feel like Ryan Fitzpatrick probably could have had the same outcome. I'm not even trying to be.
Yeah, no,
funny
I'm
here.
not saying you are, and I don't disagree with you either. It's just one of those things that's kind of hard to project because they don't even play the game the same way at all. I don't even know if they approach the game the same way. But yeah, I think that if Ryan Fitzpatrick had one of his better years, and he did have a few in the NFL, just kind of wasted on teams that weren't that great, yeah, he'd probably be here.
Well, who else? Who else was an Arizona product at quarterback? Is that it? Is that the only two guys we've had?
No, there's got to be more. What about Danny White? Danny White is an Arizona product. He came in.
Okay.
He played high school ball here.
Okay,
He played at ASU, and he went on to the pros
He's
for the
full
Dallas
on
Cowboys.
Arizona product. Yeah.
You got Brett Hundley, Ryan Finley, Kyle Allen is probably. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not a particularly long list of quarterbacks.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, Brock Purdy. Those are your best quarterbacks so far. There might be a kid who's playing right now. We have no idea the next Tom Brady. You know, you don't know them. You just don't know.
And like
Rodney,
I do think that
Rodney Pete. You guys remember Rodney Pete?
Vaguely, I'm pretty young.
I do not.
He played at Tucson Saguaro. Tucson Saguaro.
Well, that's why I don't remember him. He played in another country. The Jet says, remember that time Ralph was on the radio and he was wise and entertaining and we all loved it? Yeah, neither do we.
Oh, my God.
Boy.
Random Texter says, how long do you think before Ralph's show ends up at, I'm not reading that. Like never, Random Texter, never. Navy Brad says, so if I hear right, the Saturday show will be called Weekend with Sir. No, it's a Weekend Warriors.
Yeah.
Quiet Cannon says, Ralph's new show can get pretty dicey with us anti-Dodgers and anti-Lakers start calling in. I think it'll be an opportunity to bash the Lakers and the Dodgers if, one is so inclined. I don't think they're taking calls, man. I don't think they're doing that. I think they're interviewing people.
That's too bad.
So, I don't know. They might not. You have to tune in and give it a shot and see what happens. Baker's Cocky Hen says, once again, Purdy issues this weekend. We're the middle of the field and linebackers that covered well. 49ers won't be able to stop Mahomes. Yeah, that defense for the Chiefs has been sort of Jekyll and Hyde. We'll talk about it later, but you end up being surprised by what you see sometimes. And it's the same thing with that offense. Berg says if Purdy goes down, third overall pick in the 2018 draft is ready to play. You know who I'm talking about. Jets legend, Sam Darnold.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
never thought you'd hear this sentence. You never thought you'd hear this sentence. Sam Darnold's going to the Super Bowl. You never thought you'd hear it.
It
He's a
feels
backup,
wrong.
but
I don't even want to.
It's a real thing.
I'm trying to get my brain to process that information.
Who's-
Not
wait,
successful.
who is Patrick Mahomes' backup? I already forgot. He played a game
Yeah, he
at
played
the end of the season.
and it's not.
Not
it's
Gabbert, is it?
Is
it Blaine?
Hold on.
Blaine Gabbert?
Because I don't remember off the top of my head.
Or was that your guy?
It is Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert is going to the Super Bowl. That's worse. That is worse. Is it? Yeah, it's worse. The Jet says if San Francisco wins the Super Bowl, then Darnell will have a ring and Fitzpatrick won't. Okay.
Darnell.
Who's Darnell?
I don't know. I'm just humoring him, I guess.
Okay. Well,
hey, let's talk about something that happened over the weekend that we
right.
didn't get a chance to talk to you about. Grand Canyon University back to their winning ways, 67-61 over UT Arlington. And so, yeah, Tyon Grant Foster kicked it up with the 18 points. Whatever happened to Gabe McLaughlin? What's going on with him? I thought he was the star. You're not really hearing him scoring the most points lately.
Yeah, but I
14.
think this season it's sort of been the Tyon Grant Foster show, just because he is such a lethal scorer and he's so efficient. Like he's been the go-to guy. Doesn't mean that Gabe McLaughlin doesn't contribute. Had nearly a double-double in that game, was one rebound short of it. He's still a glue guy on the team. You would have a much worse GCU team if you didn't have Gabe out there. So it's not always points for him, and that's the thing, is he does everything well, everything right. He does all the little things, and he is, leader in the locker room. He's been at GCU, one of the longest tenured guys on the roster. So you need Gabe out there, even if he's not going to be necessarily the box score leader in points.
All right. Well, so the boys, he had 14. I guess it was only 4 points less than Tyon Grant Foster. But any notes on the game? Does it feel like this team is getting back into a good rhythm, or are they still struggling?
I think they're getting back into it. A little bit of a slow start again, which I still don't like. I just think that that's leaving yourself open to being, hurt by, If you start slow and then that second half jump in production doesn't happen, then you just put yourself in a position to lose basketball games. But I thought in the second half of this game, they really made just a stronger defensive push. I thought they played much better defense, and they got more aggressive. And I think that when you're going to play, especially like with these Texas schools, I don't know what it is, but they go out there, the game is just more physical, and it takes them a little bit to adjust. They go out there, the second half, all right, we're not getting the calls. We're going to the basket. We're going to force the issue. We're going to force the officials to make some of these calls. And I like that. And I hope that they continue to carry that moving forward.
Well, moving forward, they got Seattle U as GCU is at home on Thursday at 6:45 p.m. And then on Saturday, GCU back on the road against Utah Valley at 1:45 p.m. We got a full day of college basketball, by the way, Keon. At 4:15 p.m., we got Duke at North Carolina. And yeah, Duke is really showing up this year. And St. Mary's at Gonzaga at 8:15 p.m. So is that a good game too? I feel like it's a good game.
I mean, yeah, that's a good game when those two teams get together. I know it's not a great year for Gonzaga. They're usually much better than this, but those two schools hate each other, so it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and then, of course, the AP Top 25 men's basketball poll came out. And you know what? Maybe we take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about there's been a lot of movement up and down in that list, well, except for the top 5. But outside of that, a lot of movement. And I'm sure Keon will have some thoughts about that, and also some thoughts about BYU. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Hey, you're up next. My throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight. Here, try these. Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Hey, Jeffrey O'Brien here. And listen, Phoenix has had over 53 days of 110 degree plus this summer. This last July alone, we had 30 consecutive days of 110 plus. And this summer heat might just be the new normal for summers here in Arizona. What you need to do is call Harmon Solar today. Harmon Solar could save you over 80% off your electric bills. They're locally owned, family-owned company. Call Harmon Solar for a free estimate. 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189 or go to harmonsolar.com.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more straight talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it.
And now get a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended Silver Unlimited plan. Find us at straighttalk.com. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only, excludes taxes and fees.
There's a reason why conventional healthcare is referred to as practicing medicine. Hi, this is Dr. Hannah Lindsay. At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. I regularly see patients with a variety of acute and chronic health conditions, including many autoimmune and rheumatological diseases. We can restore pain-free joint function and balance immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves both immediate physical symptoms and overall well-being. We emphasize natural and holistic interventions with lifestyle changes and take advantage of the full palette of care options from traditional remedies to modern science. We collaborate with experts in a wide range of health disciplines, including physical therapists and specialist physicians, referring patients as needed to ensure the most effective care possible. So how about a second opinion on your health? You might just end up feeling like yourself again. Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161, or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
There's something you can do today that will impact all your tomorrows. Open an AZ 529 education savings plan. Contribute just $50 a month, and you'll have nearly $20,000 by your child's high school graduation, or as a great start towards your own education savings. Your money grows tax-free and can be used for college, vocational school, or workforce training. Learn more at az529.gov. Do it today for all your tomorrows.
This message is sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
So, what's your favorite thing about sports? The excitement, the action, or the 5-meat pizza and the 6-pack? Bingo. That's what we thought. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
David Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. We're going to talk about the AP Top 25 men's basketball poll just for a couple of minutes. But first, Keon, I guess BYU students were ready for you when you played Texas because they had these kids sitting there with the horns down T-shirt. It was just written on their shirt where it says horns down. But, so they were there in the stands but I don't think anybody be bothered by that. But evidently the BYU coach was like, hey, we got to get those out of there. He's like, oh, that's not how we roll. And it was just a miscalculation on a couple of eager kids, blah, 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 blah. Wait, why come on. Can we just all agree it's not that big a deal? The horns down thing is not that big a deal. There's all sorts of you don't think people mess with the devil horns for ASU or any other hand thing that somebody else has or any other slogan. Everybody mocks and trolls everybody and teases everybody. So what's the damn big deal about horns down?
It's Texas. That's all. I mean, it's a big school. They have just sort of
very sensitive for such a big school
legacy. I mean, well, yeah, but that that's part of it too. I mean, you see a lot of the most sensitive fan bases are the biggest fan bases, right? You disrespect, Ohio State or Alabama. Those people tend to be a little bit quicker to get mad than other places. I just think that it's just not a big deal. Like the thing is, you lost the game, so you don't even get to say anything about what those fans chose to do because you wanted to make them look really stupid with their horns down shirt, beat them, and then they go home looking silly. If not, then
yeah,
well, you have nothing to say.
Yeah, Cougars beat the Longhorns 84 to 72. So is this a thing a coach should even be getting involved in? If the fans come out and say horns down, his job is to coach the team and just make sure his boys are being good guys on the court. But stuff in the stands, it's not that big a deal.
But and this is the reason why, by the way, like guys like Jim Harbaugh and other coaches that get involved in these scandals, I never believed that they had no clue what was happening, because these coaches on campus do have a massive influence. And when they say, before certain games, hey, we want our fans to act a certain way and be a certain way because, taunting people in this particular kind of way is not what we're about. People listen. And so that's what that coach was trying to do. He was trying to basically say this is just not what our program is about. This is not how we carry ourselves and handle ourselves. Is that his business? No. But is he going to make it his business? Yeah, because he's the head coach on a major college basketball program.
Well, I think that, some things like a bunch of guys wearing a horns down T-shirt. Okay. I don't think that transcends sportsmanship or anything like that. If the players start doing it to each other, even, I'm not sure if that transcends sportsmanship is such a bad thing. But if you're going to be careful with how anybody acts, you need to be careful on how your athletes act. Now, if BYU coach said, yeah, guys, you guys don't be doing that. But if the crowd wants to do it, that's their business. But we as players, we're going to have good sportsmanship and whatever. But honestly, I just think the whole thing is damn silly.
If the crowd, there is a point where the crowd can go too far and the coach can address it and try to use his influence to try and curb
always
that.
Is.
But this isn't that. This is in the range of very normal trash talk. And I just don't see the problem.
Yeah, I feel like if you can't handle BYU, the Mormons with T-shirts, you can't handle GCU's havoc. Nobody can handle that. And they're not even swearing at you. They're just crazy.
There are a number of bigger college basketball programs that when they do roll into GCU, the havoc, it's something that even at their bigger schools, they're not used to. So yeah, I mean, you struggle with them. You are going to struggle with a team like GCU or some other place where the crowd is just nuts.
Baker's Cocky Hen says if it had pictures of the BYU players' wives and said whores down, that would be distasteful. Would be funny though. Well, no, these were BYU students doing this. It wasn't the other way around. Baker's Cocky Hens. So, but yeah, that would be too much. Quiet Cannon says Orangetown, big deal, just trash talk. What does that mean? Is that Orangetown is what they call the Texas? Or?
I have not heard that.
If you don't like
haven't lived in
trash
Texas
talk,
in a long time.
win the game so bad, you send them home crying for their mama. Okay, Quiet Cannon. Moist One says, hey, it's the Ohio State University. We don't say that.
Oh, boy.
We'll never say that. Ever.
Nah, y'all are just Ohio State.
Yeah, it's Ohio State, period. So, anyways, back to the AP top 25 men's basketball poll. No change in the top 5. Wisconsin, they shot up to 6. They went 7 points for that. Wisconsin boosted up there by 5 as well. So Tennessee and Wisconsin are now at 5 and 6. Oh no. Arizona went down 2 more. Oh no. Oh no. Iowa State up 11. How did that happen? Why did they rocket up so high to number 12 there, Keon?
Yeah, it's just they've had a good run of games and they beat some really good schools. Obviously, coming off of the win over Kansas, that's a big one. But yeah, I think Iowa State has just been so consistent and they've played so well. Plus, the Big 12 is kind of doing this thing already where March Madness is just early in that conference, and so the upsets are kind of insane. And the team that seems to be handling itself the best in all of these teams cannibalizing each other essentially is Iowa State. They're the beneficiary of, Texas suddenly forgetting how to play basketball and playing a really good Kansas team, and BYU suddenly beating people that they have no business beating, and Oklahoma falling off of the face of the earth. So like there's just a number of teams that were supposed to be much better, and Iowa State has been steady the entire time. So they jump up.
All right. So what are your thoughts on the top 25? Did they get it all right? Did they get something wrong? Or are you pleased with the situation?
I'm generally pleased with the situation. I think that the top 5 is probably the least interesting it's been in a long time, in that it's been about those 5 teams in whatever order you want to rank them. It's been, UConn, Purdue, North Carolina, Houston, and Tennessee in some form or fashion. And I don't know that that's going to change a whole lot going into the tournament. The one that I'm most surprised about is Marquette. I think Marquette has played really well since we've gotten into conference play. They've jumped up 5 spots in the poll. I think they deserve to be there. I'm just very impressed by the team and the way that they are.
Anything they got wrong? Anything you're looking at and you're like, that ain't right?
Anything that they got? I mean, the Oklahoma falling 12 spots is a bit much. I don't think that they're that bad. They deserve to fall almost out of the top 25 entirely. But yeah, they haven't played good basketball lately, so that's going to happen.
GCU still getting votes?
GCU is still getting votes. Let me see if I can.
Right after we were like all high and happy about them, they had a little a little bump in the road there, so I didn't know if people are still voting on them.
Oh no, I thought I saw some earlier. No, I guess not this time, or at least not in that grouping where they show up. So
okay. Baker's Cocky Hen says BYU kids have to find something to do, I guess. No drinking, no sex until married. So horns down shirt it is.
That's as edgy as they get, to be honest.
It's yeah. All right. So there you go. We'll have Keon Rose's college basketball dance party on Friday. Here's something local that I don't know if you heard about this, but I guess Pinnacle High School turned dirtbag on the lacrosse team. Yeah, so here's what happened. Pinnacle went ahead and they got themselves a new turf field because they don't care about kids' knees, I guess. But they went out and got a new installed turf field, and so they've said, well, now that we have this, the only people allowed to use the field are the school teams. And of course, the Pinnacle High School lacrosse team, Pinnacle Boys Lacrosse, it's a club team, but it's all students from the school there. And they're like, well, we've been using this field since 2000. So it's been 24 years that we've been using it, and they rent it, and, they pay for the privilege, but, the Pinnacle has said, nope, sorry, nope, this is a new field. So you guys can't use it. And they're like, there's like 25 hours of total game time. And they're like, how is this going to hurt the turf? Just guys running around. It's not like there's not heavy equipment. It's more running. It's not like people getting set in stances and going at each other like in football. And so it's not going to get torn up the same. And they've just completely shut down anybody that's not, a school related activity. And so this is really just devastating for the Pinnacle High School lacrosse team. And it's also, I think it's bullcrap, to be honest. Is that how? So did you guys? So what you're saying, Pinnacle, that you did a bad job of shopping for turf, and it's so delicate you can't take 25 more hours of just people running on it, and it's not the same as football.
And they're paying to be there. So if they're renting it, that's what you can use to maintain the field. So I just don't see what this giant issue is, and I don't know. I guess it's just everywhere I've ever lived, the local high schools, like they do serve the community. Like people come and play tennis or basketball or whatever.
So you're shutting this field off to everybody who pays taxes in the community, including the families of the kids who want to play lacrosse there. So I hate when they lock up and close off the high school fields. Now I get it. They're worried about vandalism and this and that, but it's like, that's not how it was supposed to be. So okay, if you want to close it off to keep vandalism out, but if somebody wants to pay you to use the field and they are your own people, come on, Pinnacle, pull your heads out of your anuses. This is just horrible.
Isn't the head coach going to be responsible for the lights and locking and unlocking the gate and that sort of thing? So you appoint the head coach of the lacrosse club / team that represents your high school
for this.
Well, that's what I mean, and that way it's going to be secured when they're done playing. Come on, man.
Yeah, it just seems a bit unfair to close these kids out just because you decided to put some expensive turf on the field, and wow, this is the thing. No, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'll get in too much trouble. I just sometimes my mouth goes ahead of my brain, but sometimes my brain catches up and says, "Whoa," and that's what just happened. But,
slow down there. Yeah.
So Pioneer Nation, you're doing these lacrosse boys dirty, and it ain't right. So they got to sort this thing out. And listen, if it's going to damage the turf, here's what I would do. Take pictures of the turf before and after lacrosse. If you see any damage, then let's talk about a payment plan or something like that. But I bet you're not going to see the damage after a lacrosse game. You're going to see the damage after a football game, not a lacrosse game. So I don't know. Maybe somebody just said the wrong thing to somebody. Oh, here's the other thing. The team's no longer allowed to use the weight room at Pinnacle High School either.
What?
That didn't change. You didn't put new turf in the weight room. So this seems kind of personal towards non-school athletics.
Non-football athletics.
Yeah, it just seems weird that because they still represent your community and they are, in all likelihood, students that go to your school. So I don't understand if you're locking them out. They already go there. What are you locking them from?
You know who told the coach, hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but lacrosse does not damage turf more than tackle football. It was a representative from the exact turf company that put the turf down.
Okay, so that is a choice. You are making a conscious decision to say
somebody doesn't like
no.
The lacrosse team.
Yeah. F the process says used to deal with that at my local high school with our rugby football club.
Oh man.
I think rugby would have more of a case for damaging a field than even lacrosse, and even rugby still is not as hard on the turf.
And still if they're paying.
The Jet says it's all about insurance and warranty. School insurance will not cover lacrosse players in the weight room or on the field. and the warranty is only good for the school-related activities. Now, that's such bull crap because a lot of these guys, most of these guys are already students of the school, so the insurance should still cover for the exact same thing. That's boo-boo. So if I'm in lacrosse, I'm in gym class, I'm not allowed to lift weights. That's just getting silly. Oh, I got a burp. All right, listen. That is 1 hour down and 2 to go. Cool Hand Brandon, I got your text on the other side, and we're going to talk football next. The Daily Blender, 1580, The Fanatic.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, Ralph, got another solar question for you.
Okay, but did you check out the Harmon Solar Podcast first?
The what?
The Harmon Solar Podcast. We put new episodes up twice a month that teach you all the things you ever wanted to learn about solar. We discuss things like how solar works, the roofing, sales process, demand management, everything solar.
Show like this needs some real smart thinkers, huh?
Well, yeah.
So you got some really great guests then, huh?
Almost every show.
Is it on Spotify?
Yep.
iTunes?
Yep. Just search it everywhere. It's the Harmon Solar Podcast. Go check it out at harmonsolar.com.
On job sites, few things are more important than a solid work boot. At Boot Barn Work, we pride ourselves on knowing that no matter your trade, when there's hard work to be done, your boot should be built for nonstop protection and mobility. Thorogood checks all the boxes. Their Wear Anywhere boots are time-tested and crafted with the highest quality materials for relentless support. For job-fitted boots, Thorogood at Boot Barn Work.
And we're back down by 3 as Mike Couch gets under centerpiece. Might be a good time to call the end table around play. Here's the snap. Ooh, down he goes. They pulled the rug out from under them on that play.
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme here, Bob.
It's the playoffs, and Salt Creek Furniture has everything you need to watch the games in style. Recliners, sofas, and so much more at prices that are sacking the competition. Salt Creek Furniture, 4 Valley locations. See it all at saltcreekhomefurniture.com.
ADOT's I-10 Broadway Curve Improvement Project is in the works. It's an 11-mile stretch of Interstate 10 between Loop 202 and I-17. When complete, your travel time through the area will be reduced. Access to Sky Harbor, retail centers, and colleges will be improved, and the region will be able to better support a growing economy and more. Keep up with the project and traffic updates at i10broadwaycurve.com and stay ahead of the curve. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Department of Transportation.
Hey, Jeffrey O'Brien here. And listen, a lot of us play fantasy football this time of year, and it's fun. But what you should be playing is fantasy electric bills. What's that? It's where you get with Harmon Solar, and they save you over 80% off your electric bill every month. Then, each time you open up that bill, you're going to feel like you just won a championship. Call Harmon Solar today. Get a free estimate. 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmonsolar.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM. And K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. We got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And now we'll talk some football. That's what we'll do. Now we'll talk about what happened over the weekend. Before we do, though, let me just clean up a couple of texts here off the text line. Cool Hand Brandon says, gentlemen, sorry to be late to the party, but congratulations to my 49ers for winning. Also, well-played season for the Lions. Wouldn't be surprised to see these guys for a while being relevant in the NFL conversations. Yeah, I mean, listen, it was a great season for them, absolutely no doubt. But Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about it. 49ers and the Chiefs rematch, 5 years in the making, back in the Super Bowl. F the process. We were talking in the last hour about how Pinnacle High School has decided to shut out the lacrosse team. It's a club team. It's not a school team, but that's only because the school doesn't have a team, and said, yeah, we got new turf, so you're not allowed to use it. Even if you want to rent it, sorry, you can't do it. F the process says most clubs like rugby and lacrosse make the athlete purchase independent insurance to cover all club activities. So those athletes are more covered than the actual school sports.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
crazy.
somebody pissed off somebody, and Pinnacle's just being dweebs about it. So
Mhm.
Walter Mellon says, question, at the end of the Chiefs game, did anybody see Kelsey getting interviewed with Taylor Swift by his side? Looks like it brought her back down to earth. As she wasn't the center of attention. It looked like it made her feel a little out of place. Who gives a crap?
No.
Walter Mellon, I don't know. I think she's totally fine letting Travis have his moment. In fact, she backed off and kind of got out of the way when Jason Kelsey came over to congratulate him. I gotta be. Everybody wants to hate on her, but she seems like just like a normal person.
Yeah.
In an extraordinary situation. But I'd love to hate on her with you, but she seems okay so far. And Kelsey seems like a really good guy, and she seems like a pretty good gal. So I'm not going to hate on her. Yes. Is it overexposed by the television in the NFL? Yes. Is it exploited? Sure is. But I'm sorry. I
didn't
can't
do that.
I can't hate on him. Not yet. Well, let's just see what happens in the near future. But right now, I'm okay with him. I got no problem with it. Lacrosse guy says, too bad for Pinnacle. It's Scottsdale, so I don't really care. There you go. There's some good rivalry hate right there. Moist One says, I used to have a bad case of loser denial myself until the lacrosse team stuck a parking cone. I can't read the rest of this. Let's see. Think we're caught up with everybody who's relevant. Yes, except for Booger Wolf. I guess he says the Chiefs defense is extremely suspect against the run. Don't forget, we got Chris McCaffrey with Brock. No lead is safe. Let's go Niners.
So if the Chiefs defense is suspect against the run, what happened? Because they stopped the run against
sure did.
Baltimore. I mean,
the
they
proper
stopped it.
run, and they got burned a couple times by Lamar, but
yeah,
it wasn't that bad.
I think the Chiefs were more prepared, and I think Baltimore was ready for them, or Baltimore wasn't ready for them.
All right, so let's talk about these things. First, let me just catch you up on the picks contest, the Harmon Solar NFL Fan Pick'em contest. I'm still in the lead, but it doesn't matter. Choro is still in the lead too. So him and I both have 190 correct. Germ is good, 20. He has 189. Which if this ended right now, he'd be in second place. And then Fighting Wampa has 188. Now, the only people who are still relevant are the three I just mentioned. The big question ends up being who's going to be 1, 2, and 3, because any combination right now is possible. Because Choro has 190. He gets the Super Bowl pick wrong. Germ is good, 20, gets it right. They're tied. The tiebreaker decides. Germ is good, 20, could take it from Choro. And it's the same thing for second place between Fighting Wampa and Germ is good, because Germ has 189, Fighting Wampa has 188. So if Germ is good, blows it, and Fighting Wampa gets it right and could win second place with a tiebreaker. So all three of these guys, it's not even close to over yet. You got to get the Super Bowl pick absolutely correct, and possibly even get your tiebreaker right too.
Yeah.
So I love this. I actually love this. Bacher 44, who is the closest with 186, he has no hope. 0% hope of anything happening. But he had a great year, so I've decided to mention him. Anyway, so that is where it stands. For first place, could be Choro or Germ is good. For second place, could be Germ is good and Fighting Wampa. It could be Choro in second place and Germ is good in first place. Fighting Wampa gets himself a nice 30-pack of beer. I don't know yet. I just don't know yet. So this has made it more interesting, if you ask me. So congratulations, you guys, for getting this far. Hefty Lefty says, great Billy Madison reference. With the lacrosse cone right there. Yes, Moist One was yes. Cool Hand Brandon says Gentlemen, I'm sorry to be late to the party. You already said that. You already said that. All right, so let's talk about this. The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl, and where do we start? Both of these games. Let's talk about the Chiefs. Let's talk about the Chiefs and the Ravens. Man, that was hard. That was hard to see them fall apart like that. You know, both teams fell apart that lost. Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions fell apart harder, you know, but you weren't so surprised at that as you were to the just sudden, like, just sort of lack of oxygen going to the Ravens.
Yeah.
You know, the Ravens looked like, okay, this is going to be a game. It's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And then they just struggled, and they just, you know, they had their chances. They had their moments where you think, okay, here it comes. And then it didn't materialize. What the hell is wrong with the Ravens yesterday, Keon?
Well, I think there was a couple of things. I think one, playoffs bring pressure, and you could just see them. Every mistake they made, they got a little bit more tight and a little bit more tight. And you know, the Zay Flowers fumble on the goal line. If you talk about the worst 5-minute sequence of any one person in sports, Zay Flowers getting the taunting penalty that actually moved them back in the first place.
Yeah.
Then the guy who punched the ball out, he had got up and flexed on Snead, got himself a penalty. The next time he had the ball in his hand, Snead came and went boop and helped him not have the ball in his hand. So, you know, maybe if you hadn't pissed him off that bad, maybe he would have been looking for your number, you know, so zoned in. So who knows? But I can't say he was dumb for trying to extend that.
I don't think he was dumb. No, I just think it was just a bad sequence where it's just like the taunting. It was the dumb part. That
was dumb.
The thing is, like, even if Willie Snead hadn't come looking for Zay Flowers, you would have already been in range to score had you not done that in the first place. And then, of course, he hurts his hand punching the bench in frustration after that. So
he says, my hand was already cut. I just reopened it.
No.
Okay.
I do not believe you.
He's a rookie. He'll have a fine career, but this one,
that one's got to hurt, and in more ways than one. And so, I just think the Ravens just could not handle the pressure of, you know, some of these big moments. There were some throws Lamar could have made. They just were a little bit long. There were, you know, obviously some of the mistakes in the way that they chose, I think, to just keep taking deep shot after deep shot. That's not how they played this season. They played a faster game. They played underneath a lot. They ran the ball a lot. And I know that the Chiefs took a lot of the run game away, but the quick game was still there. The screen game was still there. You have Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, but they kept taking these deep shots. And I just thought you're wasting downs, you're wasting possessions. Part of what makes the Ravens special is their ability to take the ball, start on the 20, and then just have a long drive that takes like 9 minutes.
Which is what the Chiefs kept doing. The Chiefs were doing that, and it's like, well, why are the Ravens, you know, blowing it so damn much?
I just think the pressure caused them to get out of their identity. They have a coach who's a first-time offensive coordinator, Todd Monken. He's never done this at the NFL level before, and so the play calling just got really weird and not like what Baltimore's been doing the entire time.
Yeah, that was, you know, it was, you know, there were some really great moments for the Ravens in the game, and then it just kind of disintegrated, and it was hard to watch. I felt bad. I mean, it's one thing to be playing great and lose a game, but to be playing great and then see it just go and fizzle out the way they did. That was just bad for everybody's psyche. But I mean, we were looking at this as the Ravens losing it more than the Chiefs winning it, or do we give our due respect to Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce? You know, I mean, we had been talking about the Chiefs not being quite the Chiefs that we were used to for a lot of the season. We were like, oh wow, they're going to lose. They're going to lose. We kept thinking they're going to lose, and yet here they are going to the Super Bowl again. I mean,
I
did we get so used to the Chiefs being this other team that we saw this version of the Chiefs and we're like, but when we should have been looking at them differently, or did they just show up a little more for the postseason?
I think in the postseason, they're used to handling when some of the things don't go their way. That's part of it, is like when games are really close and tight. Like if you're going to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, you should just blow them out. Because if they're close, when you get a little tight, they're not. They've done this too many times. And, Andy Reid has all that experience. Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, who was 11 targets, 11 receptions, over 100 yards, a touchdown. And a lot of those catches weren't easy catches to make. Some of them were in traffic. One was a Patrick Mahomes kind of off-schedule play that he threw a little bit behind him. Kelce makes the catch. The touchdown throw was incredible because the ball was in the only place Kelce could get it, but it still took a lot of concentration to make that catch.
You had to sit down to get it.
Yeah, I mean, they just make those plays all the time in the postseason, and you find that teams that are really good in the regular season get to the playoffs and can't make those plays when the pressure is on. The Chiefs seem to always be able to.
They are the opposite. Mahomes in the postseason, his passer rating is 106.3, which is better than his regular season passer rating, which is 103.5. Oh my God. And, but we didn't think that they would be that team this year. And like, nope, they're here. Yep, that's the same team. That's the same team.
I wasn't necessarily worried about them because they did this the year before. Maybe not quite as extreme, but they started off slow. We had all of these questions about them.
You think they did it on purpose?
No.
You think they were just sort of like skating in and let's just rest up. Oh, it's playoff time. Now the real season started. Do you think
I don't think you can plan to do that in the NFL. I just think it's too hard to win games in that league. I think what it is you're the Chiefs. Everybody wants to beat you. You get every team's best punch. And then, if you have any change at all, you lose coordinators to other jobs and things like that, then that's something you end up spending the entire regular season trying to figure out. Then you get to the playoffs and you've already sorted out all of your stuff.
So 17 postseason games, and Patrick Mahomes is 14-3 in those games. He's got 39 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and that's that means something right there. So the postseason, it seems to be all that matters. Sun Devil Raul says Kelce was the MVP of that game, including his mind punking. Yes, he did get involved in a bit of, I don't know if it was gamesmanship or big leaguemanship, but before the game started, Justin Tucker was over there kind of doing his thing, and Mahomes was like, "What are you doing over here? You're not supposed to be here. You should go over there." And he just kind of like, "Okay." And then Kelce says, "Here, let me help you with that." So threw his helmet, threw his footballs and all this stuff, and said, "Get out of here." And they had a couple of chirps at each other. But if you're Justin Tucker and the guy that is messing with you is Travis Kelce, you just take it in stride. You don't try anything. You can talk some crap to Patrick Mahomes. You just don't even talk to Mr. Kelce.
Yeah, I could see that. I think the biggest thing that Kelce actually did was one of the many uncharacteristic Ravens penalties that happened in the game was when Kyle Van Noy shows up to kind of, push Travis Kelce. Like Kelce steps into, I don't know if it was Roquan Smith's face a little bit. Then Van Noy pushes him, and he's the one that gets seen, and so the flag gets thrown.
Kelce just laughing his ass off. It's all gamesmanship, man.
It is, but he got him. He got Kyle Van Noy, a guy who he played in New England. It's not like Kyle Van Noy's never been here before. Got him to break composure, and it cost him.
Travis Kelce is a little brother to Jason Kelce. And he, on a podcast not too long ago,
got him to walk off.
Yeah, I was able to make him rage quit a podcast. So Travis Kelce's got that something special that I understand as a little brother and a big brother. Able just to get under somebody's skin at will.
Got him.
Razor Sharp says, absolutely disgusting. SOL. Oh, he's the Lions fan who's been telling us the Lions baby for this season. I feel bad for him.
Sorry, dude.
Niner Napolis says he overcomes his mistakes, okay, and he plays his best in crunch time. That, I believe he's talking about Patrick Mahomes because when he was talking about Baltimore, he says Baltimore ran the ball 3 times with Gus Edwards. They abandoned that. What got them there, and Lamar Jackson certainly didn't play like an MVP.
Yep.
You know who did play like an MVP, at least in the second half, showed grit and showed why he deserves some flowers. That'd be Brock Purdy. We're going to get to that in Ninernapolis. We'll definitely get to that. Let's see. Sun Devil Raul says, didn't I just say that? You said a lot of things, Raul, and I'm trying to bounce you and other people into the conversation at the same time. Hang in there. Booger Wolf says, when the Niners win, it'll be a glorious day. The sun shines. The bets for the Niners will win, and the economy will be much better for it. McCaffrey for president. Why don't you take a break, Booger Wolf? Beer Bob says, the Ravens' problem was they didn't take care of the ball. Lions' problem was Dan Campbell. Gambled too much. You kick a field goal when you're down by 3. He's a big reason they lost. Okay, we will get to that in a second, but right now we're talking about Chiefs and Ravens. Okay,
I will say the Ravens not taking care of the ball had in large part to do that the play calling was just very different. You're asking Lamar to throw the ball. Yeah, now the pressure's on and he throws that ill-advised pass into triple coverage. That's a mistake, but it's a mistake caused by the fact that you were just slinging the ball the whole time. The fumble is also that because it was a long developing play and he's trying to hang in the pocket and wait for the right moment. And when it arrives, he gets hit. Perfect timing by, I think, Amenahu was the one that made that hit, which unfortunately for him, he's not going to be in the Super Bowl. But
I saw a tweet from him. All it was a broken heart emoji, and he just felt it. But you know what? He'll be at the Super Bowl.
But he wants to be in the Super Bowl.
I
he
know.
wants to be out on the field with his guys.
A lot of what he did, he's a guy who does deserve a ring if they win.
Well, yeah, he's like one of the best players on that defense, on a great defense all year long.
I don't think everybody deserves a ring that just happens to work for the team or is on the team. Like Gabbert. Just, you know what? Don't wear it. Don't wear it. You can have it. Put it on your mantle, but you don't need to be wearing that. Quiet Cannon says, I was happy not to see Taylor Swift. This shows she's a class act. Post-game recognition was for football players who won the AFC championship. This was not the right stage for other celebrities. Yeah, she wasn't down there to be a celebrity. She was there with Travis's mom and dad and brother. They came down together as family does. And so, she knew that was not her thing. And I think she's absolutely okay with that. She's got $1 billion worth of thing waiting for her whenever she feels like it. She was there for her boyfriend. She wasn't there for you. She wasn't there for the NFL. She wasn't there for CBS. She was there for her man. And I do believe that. I mean, she don't need this. That's the thing, guys.
She has also 1 billion adoring fans anytime she wants the attention. That's what.
Yep. Doesn't need this. Sun Devil Raul says Goofy Mahomes doesn't make mistakes. Oh yeah, he does. Not many. And in the game, he does. He's got his failings. But
it's just what he's good at just offsets it. So what do you
that
do?
Defense for the Chiefs did show up yesterday. That's for sure. Big George says my favorite thing about yesterday's Chiefs game is the kiss that Travis Kelce. You know what? You're just go watch Hallmark. I don't even want to read the rest of your man card violation of that text. Oh my God. Oh, and in the end, he says, if they get married, they should make a Hallmark movie about it. Oh, just stop it.
But you lived through it. What do you need a movie about it for?
Only if you put a little dramatic twist where Andy Reid is the other guy she thought about maybe getting together with. That little triangle of complication with Andy Reid. With the mustard stains on his shirt. If that's the way it is, then fine.
And then she turns her back on him because he drew a mustache on her face while she was sleeping.
He does that to everybody.
Yeah.
He really does.
You can't help it.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk more about the Chiefs and the Ravens. And of course, coming up, the 49ers and the Lions. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When it comes to covering the high school sports scene in Arizona, AZ Preps 365 has all the answers. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 10, they break down games, interview the newsmakers, talk with coaches from around the state, and stay up to date with what's happening with prep athletes and breaking news from the Arizona prep scene. It's AZ Preps 365, 8 till 10 Saturday mornings on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Grand Canyon University basketball is back for another exciting season. After advancing to March Madness in 2 of his 3 seasons as the head coach, Bryce Drew brings a team to the court this season, picked to win the conference once again, and led by first-team All-WAC selection Gabe McLaughlin and WAC preseason Player of the Year Ray Harrison. Check out the schedule at gculopes.com to find matchups with San Francisco, DePaul, Liberty, and last year's national championship runner-up, the San Diego State Aztecs. Join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long right here on The Fanatic, the home of Lopes basketball.
Hey, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. And guess what, Randy? Sunday, the racing begins again. We got the Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum Sunday at 2:30 p.m.
Yeah,
I saw some video of that in a promo last night, and I'm like, that is such a small, teeny little course. What is the point of that? Good God, it's small.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, it's your first look at NASCAR for the new season. They race inside the Coliseum there in Los Angeles, and this is the opportunity for fans to get a look at their new favorite drivers and get jazzed up for the Daytona 500 coming up here in February. So
you can't even get up to any kind of real speed in the course that small, right?
No,
And
it's
it's so
like,
tight. It's like being
That's the
stuck
way
in
it is.
traffic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
Well,
don't
it's
ever-
it's Los Angeles, Jeffco.
Wow, just call it the 405 special, I guess.
Could be the five Speedway special. Yeah.
And by the way, when we're done with the Busch Light Clash at the
Yeah.
Coliseum, we got some Pro Bowl fun. I don't know what it is, but there's some broadcast.
Oh boy,
I guess it is. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Oh boy,
just some
yeah
thing. I'm so glad they stopped playing that horrible non-game. That was just the worst.
Did they really though?
Oh, so glad. Well, now it's just like a little flag football, some competition,
yeah,
and it's not like an actual full-on game that we're
Well, they have
required
like a long-
contractually
they have-
to carry.
They have like a long drive competition.
I like that when they, throw the ball, do this, do that.
It's golfing, long drive.
That's fine.
Golfing, yeah.
Don't care because it's weird when they would have the Pro Bowl on and you were conflicted. You're like, there is a game on, but it's not a game. It's just not. I can't. Because you're like, I don't have much. I got one game of football left. One game. It's called the Super Bowl, and outside of that, then don't waste it. Like yesterday, my ass was firmly planted on that couch. I watched every moment of those games because that's it. That's all we got left.
Yeah.
And you'd feel weird. Like I don't want to watch the Pro Bowl, but then it's all we have left.
You watch the Pro Bowl and you're like, it's not worth it.
So I'm glad it's gone to remove that angst and horribleness from our lives. Am I going to turn on the flag football? No, probably not.
No, but some kids somewhere will probably like it.
Yeah, okay.
I don't expect any adults to watch the flag football Pro Bowl game, but yeah.
Oh man, it's back. Trips to the Home Depot. That's what's back, Randy. Because she's going to be asking us, hey, there's no football. How about, and then there's the honeydew list, the reappearance of the honeydew list.
Yeah, there it goes. Yep.
Our standing excuse for all these months, gone. Gone.
Yeah.
And baseball's just not started yet.
Baseball right
Basketball.
around the corner, ladies and gentlemen.
There's basketball, but you can't get out of doing stuff on Saturdays and Sundays really for that.
That's true. Yeah, basketball's only about an hour and a half long.
All right. Well, men who are married, back to work.
Jack.
House worker. I don't
House
know. What do we
guys.
call ourselves?
House guys.
Handymen or
No, house guys.
duct tape guys? I don't know.
No,
Anyway,
house guys.
back to work, house guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
there it
George says, question for Randy White, 1580 Fanatic, 99.3 FM in Phoenix and 95.9 FM in the East Valley. That's just way too much, George.
Go ahead. Yeah.
What is up with these 80-degree temperatures? Feels like spring, but it's still January. Is there any relief in sight from this oppressive heat? I'll tell you, my air conditioning just did trip on, so it's got to be over.
I will say this. Later on this week, we were expecting some rain like on Friday and lower temperatures on Friday.
Holy crap, it's 77 degrees right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but we're going to get down Friday about 62, 60 over the weekends, and then 64 by next Wednesday. So
I, for one, am against it.
It's going to be 79 tomorrow, Thursday, 71, Friday.
Yeah.
Rain and 62 is what we're calling for.
Right. So the nice temperatures are only going to last a couple more weeks, and then it'll be 100. You'll see.
Well, that's what I said last week. Welcome to winter in Arizona. And now we're going into spring where it's going to be a beautiful 71 to 79. And then we'll get into early summer, which will be 83 to 95. And then we'll get into summer, which will be, oh, my God. Yeah.
I may have to move away. I just, we got so little good weather, like nice, comfortable weather in the past.
Yeah.
And now it's even less. I don't think I can put up with this much longer. I may need to leave.
Where are you going to go?
I don't know yet.
I mean, what are you thinking?
Alaska?
Well,
the mosquitoes there during the summertime are terrible.
So the wife and I are watching this thing on the HBO, with the Jodie Foster Night Detective or whatever the hell it's called, True Detective, and they live in this place in Alaska where it's dark for days, like the sun sets and doesn't come back up for a while, and they're like, "This is day 6," and I'm watching. I'm like, I could do that. I could live in the icy frozen tundra,
Northern America. That must
be There's Eskimos and everything.
Oh yeah, all right.
And so I'm like, no, I could do that. My wife is like, I could never do it. She's like, you couldn't do that. I said, yeah, I could. She says, there's no trees. Yeah, I'm all right. I would probably be really well suited for deep space missions. You go ahead and put me on the ship. I'll be fine.
I don't think so.
I don't like to leave the house as it is.
You'd have to have a really big ship.
Well, you call me fat? I feel like I'm being fat shamed right now.
No, I'm not fat shaming. I'm just telling you, you would have to have a very large spacecraft to get you out and moving around.
Oh, I thought you meant for my giant penis.
No,
listen, in space, it's different.
No,
it's weightless.
Planet Urine is not what I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to be confined in a too small space.
What I'm talking
about.
about.
If the ship could be similar to the size of my house, then now we're talking. I could be like, okay, I'm hanging out here. I can walk down to a thing. Hey guys, what's going on? Then go back to my area.
I don't know that they have like a spaceship Enterprise like James T. Kirk and those Voyagers of the Starship.
Trying to
Enterprise.
Sign up for it right now, Randy. I'm just saying I would be well suited for deep space travel because constant nighttime would not bother me. Constant being inside doesn't bother me. I'm not one of those people that has like, I've been cooped up all this time. Oh, can I just tell you, honestly, I loved COVID. That was just, I was perfect. I loved it.
They said you couldn't leave, and you were like, great.
No problem.
How long can we do this? Can we do this even longer?
My psyche was great during those years. I was great.
Are you sure you found a vaccine? You want to work a little longer?
Like, take your time. Just take your time. Anyway, I don't know what we're talking about here. Oh, the weather. Yeah, sucks. I may have to move. 888-368-1580. Let's get caught up on the text line. Quiet Cannon says the Ravens could not put any pressure on the Chiefs either on defense or offense. Chiefs had a conservative game plan. Moms threw the ball. Moms.
I think he means
Mahomes.
Mahomes. Just
Mahomes,
missing
yeah.
several letters, but that's fine.
Well enough. Running game was good. Ravens just unraveled.
Well,
yeah, you're right.
I don't think that the Ravens defense played poorly at all, given that they were on the field a lot because the Ravens offense couldn't do anything. And they only gave up 17 points. It's not like they didn't get scorched. The Ravens had a chance to tie this football game because the defense kept, every time it looked like, okay, here come the Chiefs, they're going to put the Ravens away. That defense either got a 3 and out, that last possession where they had to call the timeouts and try and stop the Chiefs. They did. It was just the interception was the backbreaker and the Ravens lost.
I think it was clearly the offense of the Baltimore Ravens. It was not the defense.
I thought Mike McDonald called a damn near perfect game defensively. It's just when the offense can't get going, the defense suffers.
Yeah, and listen, the Chiefs defense really did step up, and they did their jobs, and so it wasn't a scorching by an offense. It was kind of a scorching by the Chiefs defense by just sort of keeping them in check, keeping them in one spot. The Chiefs defense was able to do their jobs well enough to not be stuck on the field for all that time. So okay, I don't know. I feel bad. I wouldn't feel bad for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I wouldn't feel bad for Dan Campbell and the Lions, except for these are two teams that, like Keon had mentioned, championship windows don't stay open forever. And also getting to the AFC or NFC championship game, there's no given that they will be exactly back in the same spot next time for another rematch or for another shot at this. Even Dan Campbell said to his guys, he's like, this could be our only shot at this. So I feel bad for the city of Detroit. I feel bad for the old guy they kept showing us on the screen who, is like, I'm so old. And, he's been waiting for something good to happen for his entire life. And this is as good as it gets, tying with the last time he had something good in his life. Because the Lions got exactly as far as they did last time in the same result. So I feel bad for those guys. Any other team, any other situation, be like, you got your ass kicked, go home. Yeah, but these guys, you feel bad for them, the Ravens, and you feel bad for the Lions. How can you not?
Especially since I thought both teams played well. Both losing teams, I thought they played well. I just, just a mistake here and there, and especially the Ravens, because I just thought they kept making great plays followed by plays that just stopped their momentum entirely. And sometimes that's just the playoffs. Like Amenahu getting that strip sack is a guy just making a great defensive play. Like that's not a bad play. It's just he made a play, and you got to give him credit for that. The Snead punching out the football, like he made that play happen. So you got to give him credit.
Here's the thing about that. So Zay Flowers, the rookie, playing great, and then gets in his own head and just disintegrates as you watch, and makes mistakes and just crumbles as a human being. That's just a sign of immaturity right there. And okay, but Zay Flowers, he's come out and says, all right, I will learn from my mistakes. Well, I hope so, because it's not Zay Flowers' fault that he was all they had. He seemed like to be the only reliable target that Lamar Jackson had. Mark Andrews caught one pass or two? It wasn't much.
Well,
and they knew he was injured, so they were probably taking it easy on him.
He wasn't in the game a whole lot. And Zay Flowers, quite honestly, in the second half, I don't know what happened to his hands, but they disappeared. So
well, he disappeared, and I think it's because they were like, okay, we can't throw to him anymore because he's gone goofy. So that's when you hear Odell Beckham Jr.'s name for the first time in the game was in the second half. And it was funny. Odell Beckham Jr. says, well, this season showed me I can still play football. Dude, if Zay Flowers hadn't disintegrated, we wouldn't even heard your name yesterday. Yeah, you can barely still play football.
I'm trying to think of a single Odell Beckham Jr. play that stood out this year. He had some decent plays. Nothing that would suggest, oh yeah, Odell Beckham Jr. He still got it. I
think I saw one pretty good catch.
Yeah,
but that was it.
Yeah, this whole season, the whole season.
But it's not Zay Flowers' fault that all they had was Zay Flowers. You
Yeah,
know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying? You see a guy getting in kind of head trouble, you lay off him. And that's what they did. And after they did that, they had nothing. They had
a couple of throws
nothing.
to Nelson Aguilar.
Mm-hmm. Aguilar. Anyway,
Justice.
so
Hill,
on the other side, though, Travis Kelce, I didn't hear this on the broadcast, but I read it today. He broke Jerry Rice's postseason reception record.
Yeah, we were saying it
broke
last
that thing
because
because he already did it.
Well, no, because you last Friday you were saying he needed 6 more catches. So
he got him.
When he hit about 10, I was like, oh, he probably did break it.
152. That was kind of cool, but just kind of, I don't know, you would never expect a tight end to break Jerry Rice's record.
Yeah,
and he's probably going to break it by a whole lot more.
Oh yeah. This is part of the evolution of the game of football too, is that you use the tight end position like that a whole lot more than in the past, where like George Kittle is probably the closest or one of the closest guys we have to a more traditional tight end, a guy that can go out there, catch the football, make plays, but he's also a fantastic blocker. I don't know that Travis Kelce's the best blocker. He's a good blocker, solid, but as a receiver, he is deadly. And
yeah, it's surprising. That's some of the things that he can do that you don't expect a big guy like that to be able to do.
Yeah, and there's so many other, I think, younger tight ends coming into the league now that are in that same mold of guy.
Sun Devil Raul says Snead didn't make that play. Keon Flowers didn't need to extend like he did. That move made the fumble occur. Well, it only happens, Raul, if Snead came and popped it out with his hand. So it wasn't that he was, he was fumbling the ball. He was careless, I guess, with the ball. Did he mess up? Yeah, a little bit. I think so.
He exposed the football, but it wasn't going to fall out by itself.
Right.
It got punched out.
Snead did make the play. Otherwise, Flowers would have had that touchdown. Random Texter says, I don't care what anyone says. The play of the game was when Marquise Valdez-Scantling actually caught the ball. Oh, yeah, when it bounced off the guy trying to intercept it.
I was genuinely surprised that he caught it.
That and old Lamar Jackson catching his own pass that got bounced back, and then he ran over and grabbed it from some guy. That's some speed, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the focus. I mean, he was locked onto that football. I was like, wow, he's the concentration here to make this play and then still pick up a few yards and get the first down afterwards was impressive.
That's a man who wanted it right there. So, but that was a pretty impressive play. Aiton's Army says, hey, did you guys see that FanDuel has a line on if Travis Kelce proposed to Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl? I saw that. And there's going to be a bunch of other dumb prop bets like that. Are those prop bets, Aiton's Army, you would know this. Are those prop bets legal in Arizona? Because not every state can do those things, because one of the some states have rules against those, because if it's something that can be rigged by, say, a producer or something like that, they're like, this is not really something we should be taking bets on. But some states can and some states can't take those kinds of prop bets. Is Arizona a state that can? I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of Taylor Swift prop bets, like what color is she wearing? Who's going to be in the booth? And yeah, exactly the one. Will Travis propose? So Aiton's Army says it's being offered in Canada right now. Not seeing that prop bet on our apps, but it's early. Well, keep me up to date on that. I'm always kind of curious about where you can and can't do the prop bets. Moist One says, I'm always down for some deep exploration.
We're not shocked.
Oh, boy.
T-Licious says, happy Victory Monday to all my fellow Niners fans everywhere. What a game. Lions had us on the ropes. I'm too old for this bleep. So wrecked still. Congrats, Lions, on a hell of a season. We shall get our revenge. All right. Well, we're going to talk about the Niners and the Lions here after the break. Kiss the Cook says, damn, Big George is like a Mr. Softy. 7 foot tall Mr. Softy. Kiss the Cook. And yes, he watches Hallmark specials with or without his wife. He wants to know if George cried watching Bambi, and then maybe did he drive an ice cream truck? I don't know what the ice cream truck part, but I bet he did cry.
The soft serve thing? Going back to the softy.
Soft serve?
I guess. The ice cream.
The Jet says, Jeffrey, do you need some cheese to go with your wine? It was literally amazing here from September to April. Used to be, but it didn't pop back up by the 80s. I mean, it's January. We shouldn't be hitting near the 80s. We should still be down the 60s and stuff. He says, other states are in blizzard watch. We got it made. In summertime, it gets a little warm, but we don't have the humidity, the hurricanes, or the flooding like the Midwest does. He says, I can deliver that cheese later this week. I got some Famunda cheese for you, Jet. And listen, I am a guy who's lived here since 1984, and I am tired of this superheating, overheating. It's just this is not what I signed up for. Is all I'm saying. This ain't what I signed up for. This ain't normal. Randy, at least back me up on that. This ain't normal. I mean, a little occasional drift into a bit of a higher temperatures, but what we've seen the last few years isn't normal.
It's probably a little weird the last couple of seasons. Yeah, Jeff, go. I'll back you up on that.
I didn't ask you to confirm global warming. I'm just saying that lately it's been different.
Last couple of years, it's been a little weird. But I don't expect this year for it to be that way. So
it's going to be hotter than hell this summer. And then by this summer, I mean March. Anyway, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be moving on to the Lions and the 49ers. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire, or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-736-6158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-736-6158. That's 800-736-6158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-736-6158. Again, 800-736-6158.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more straight talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. Thanks, kids. You're finally worth it.
And now get a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended Silver Unlimited plan. Find us at straighttalk.com. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only, excludes taxes and fees.
Did you know Bashes is the exclusive discount ticket sponsor of the 36th Annual Arizona Renaissance Festival? Stop by customer service today to pick up your tickets. Don't miss the action and adventure at this year's festival every weekend from February 3rd through March 31st, including President's Day, Monday, February 19th. To check out this year's festivities, visit arizona.renfestinfo.com. Huzzah!
This is Brent Musburger. Don't miss Pro Football Blitz, Saturday afternoons, right here on Arizona's sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Blender here on 1580. The Fanatics. Slave Dave says, Jeffrey, quit whining about the heat. Yeah, we broke a record for most consecutive 110 days this year. Back in my day, we used to have to walk to school in 130-degree heat, barefoot, both ways, no water.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's true. That is true. Heavy Metal Maniac says, I've been here since 1967. It's been the same every year since. I don't think the weather is that much hotter. Oh, well, Heavy Metal Maniacs probably knows better than I do because he's way, way, way older than me. But it just does seem different. Although I can't say, I remember the summers. Oh my God, when I was a little kid, because we lived here and then we'd move away and then we'd live here. I remember back in 1975. Holy crap, it was hot in the car in 1975.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just seemed like, man, that was like when you get out of the car and you walk someplace. It could have been because my babysitter didn't turn on the air conditioning, but it was hot. Yeah. So, I don't remember ever being that hot since. Oily Stool says, hey, Jeffrey, as a former Edmonton Eskimos fan, I don't think we're allowed to say Eskimos anymore. They renamed our CFL team from the Eskimos to the Elks. Well, in the show, to be honest, they didn't say Eskimos, but I heard somebody say Mukluks, and I know that's an Eskimo term. So I don't think it's wrong for me to say they're Eskimos if they're actual Eskimos. Indigenous people, I guess. I don't know the rules on
Sometimes
this.
referred to as Inuit people, though I don't know
I
exactly
think they
why
prefer indigenous.
Well, yeah, but
I'm sure they probably just prefer we use the name of their tribes, but I don't know it.
I think it's
So,
indigenous.
Inuit, indigenous, natives. I don't know. But thanks, Oily Stool. Thanks for reminding me there. Big George says, Jeffrey, you and me are on the same page. Well, the only person agreeing with me right now, George. You're the only person. Everybody else is saying I'm just being.
Wait, what are you talking
I'm being
about?
soft.
I just agreed with you a moment ago.
Oh, I thought you were disagreeing with me.
No, I wasn't disagreeing with you. I said last summer was hot.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think over the time I've lived here, which is my entire life.
I'm
I was
talking about
born
the winters.
Well, the winters haven't been that cold, and they
That's what I'm
haven't been
saying.
that hot
Or
I'm-
consistent.
Well, they kind of have though, but yeah. Remember that summer we had 121, 122 degrees. Did we have
Yeah, it
that
was
last summer? Did we have that last summer?
No, 100. I don't remember.
We had 117. We had 118.
I don't know if we did hit 120. I think we hit 110 for so long that it just it might
There's
as
a
well
lot
have
of
been
days
120.
over 110,
Yeah.
but I'm not disagreeing with you, buddy. I'm just saying maybe you're just getting older like I am, and it's just hot.
So
know what I
it should be
mean?
the other way around. I thought old people get cold.
No. Old people get pissed.
Oh, I was that way since I was in my 20s.
Well, no. They get more pissed about the weather because that's why I don't watch the weather at night. I don't watch, the weather guys at night. I don't watch Corey McCloskey. I don't watch those guys. You know why? Because
Well,
they
he
bring
just
the
makes
weather.
me uncomfortable.
Well, okay, yeah. But the bottom line is they bring the weather, and I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna be hot tomorrow. And Kim, she won't let me watch the news. She won't let me watch the weather. She won't. She keeps changing the channel.
Yeah, I don't watch the news for many reasons that are similar to that.
But mine is that's why I said, Kim, we need to get a thermometer on the back porch here, and she's like, oh, okay. And do I have one? That was like a year ago. No.
Yeah, why do that to yourself?
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Why do you want to look out the back patio and see the weather? It's 118. Why do you want to do that?
Hey, Keon, Sun Devil Raul wants to know if you know who Billy Sims is.
Billy Sims.
Yeah.
No, can't
It
say
says
I
some
do.
idiot announcer called Billy Sims Barry Sanders. And then he's like, does anybody here know who Billy Sims is?
Billy Sims, one of the great Oklahoma running backs of all time, wasn't he? Billy Sims?
I think you might be right, actually.
He was a stud at Oklahoma. He didn't do really anything in the NFL, but Billy Sims, he was a stud.
Sun Devil
Billy Sims, though, notably a Detroit Lion.
Oh,
There you
was
go.
he?
Yeah.
Huh?
That makes sense because they were mistaking him for Barry Sanders or something. I don't know.
Look, man, Barry Sanders is the running back for Detroit. I don't give a damn
Oh, yeah.
who you think it is.
Yeah, they don't look anything like.
Just go ahead and just call him Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders.
Navy Brad says we hit 119 7 times in the summer. Never hit 120, but very close. Yeah, but the fact you hit it 119 7 times. Come on, guys.
Can I tell you guys? I had a landscaping company, and we were out in 120 and 122. I remember the shirts. It said I survived 122.
Yeah, 1989.
I was out doing that stuff in 120, 122, 123. One day it was unofficially 125.
I'm not talking about this summer. I'm talking about how the winters are warmer than they used to be. More than I'm talking about the summers. All right, fine.
Maybe we've had a few cold winters. I mean, we've got down to the 30s. I mean, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
You don't live, Jeffrey, where you lived when you moved here. See what I'm saying?
It's not that different.
Sure it is.
I'm pretty close to where I lived when we first moved here. When we first moved here, I lived in Gilbert. Then I lived in Mesa, I'm just saying.
And now you live in more concrete area. And I'm a
less concrete area because this is a newer area. So there's less concrete over here.
I believe that more concrete brings more heat.
I'm just trying to say I'm moving the hell away.
Where are you going to go?
I don't know yet.
Well, will you let me know so I can follow you?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right.
I can't take this anymore. I've had enough. I've had a lifetime of it.
See, but that's what our age guys do. That's what we say.
Kiss the Cook says number 4 badass Billy Sims. And Sub Neville Raul says he only played 5 seasons, all Detroit. After only 5 seasons, he got retired, and his number 20 is retired for the Lions.
But didn't he try to make a comeback with the Rams, Billy Sims?
Well, it doesn't show that on his page here on the Pro Football Reference, just his Detroit stuff. Also 3,000-yard rushing seasons for Billy Sims. So solid.
Oh, good for him. Yeah.
He also liked to do nude sculptures.
I don't see what the problem is there.
No, nothing. I'm just saying it was a thing. Anyway, so just 2 more things left on the Chiefs-Ravens game. Did you guys? It was cracking me up when the referee would come out, and this guy, I haven't named him yet. He's very, very serious.
I noticed that.
He's a very serious man, and I if I had a nickname for him, I forgot what I gave him, but I like him. I do like him. But he came out there and he's like, holding the 5-yard penalty. His voice was cracking because I think he was yelling so much that he lost his voice. So every time he tried to announce the penalty, it was comical. It was fun. But I mean, I think that's why there weren't so many flags in the second half. He's like, screw it. He's like, didn't want to call anything if he didn't have to. But that's why they got the hand signals. Just don't use the thing if you're sounding like Peter Brady, going through puberty there. But the other thing is when they all of a sudden there was a timeout. You're like, wait, what? Who called timeout? Administrative timeout. Well, that's the first time in watching football in my life I've heard that one. And it turned out they didn't want to tell you what it really was. It was, we got a drone timeout. I guess there was a drone flying around. It wasn't one of the ones that was allowed to be there. And so when the drone gets spotted, they stop the game until they can clear out that drone. They were able to locate the drone operator, and they're like, hey, land the drone and knock it off. And so then he, oh, yeah, okay. And so he cooperated. So that's why everything started back up pretty fast. But yeah, who has a drone that thinks, yeah, I could probably fly this over the stadium and nobody's going to get angry about it?
I don't know, because there are buildings in any city that you live in. There are places in any city that you live in. They already don't want you flying drones. I can't imagine a place that people would want you flying your personal drone less than a football stadium filled with people.
I think it's probably the same people that want to flip their bats and
come on, Randy.
Taunt guys on the basketball court.
This has nothing to do with that.
Same guys.
It's nothing to do with that.
Absolutely
I
unrelated.
can do what I want. I'll fly my drone over here, and here you go. And I don't have to land my drone. If you catch me if you can, Jack.
Well, he wasn't like that. He cooperated immediately. There were already 5 drones up there that were supposed to be there, or wait, were those ones not supposed to be there? I thought CBS had some up there. Whatever.
I mean, they
5
clearly did because they
drones?
had some aerial shots that were either the blimp or a drone. So,
This is the world we live in, and so now you're going to have to put some sort of attack drones into play. So you see a strange drone that's not supposed to be there, and they go grab it with a net and pull it off and beat its ass in the parking lot. I mean, that
Yeah, and blimp drivers everywhere are starting to cry because they're going to be out of work soon.
Dr. Jones says, I imagine if bad guys tried to fly drones in, yeah, I mean, they might. That could be bad. Listen, that's 2 hours down and 1 to go. We'll pick it back up when we get back. It's Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Get the appliances you need right away at Lowe's. Explore the largest assortment of brands you trust, like Whirlpool, Samsung, and LG, in-store or online at the best values. Plus, take advantage of our everyday financing offers on top items, from refrigerators to laundry pairs. And there's more. Get your new appliances delivered or installed quickly at your convenience. Because Lowe's knows appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Subject to credit approval.
Life is full of bright moments, but sometimes those moments can seem too far away. Trained and caring crisis specialists in Arizona can assist you with any situation, big or small. Free and confidential help is only one text away, day or night. Text the word HOPE to 4HOPE. That's HOPE to 44673. These moments matter, and so do you. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
As we plan for our retirement, there are 4 questions we need to ask ourselves or our retirement planning advisor. How much? How long? How safe? And what cost? Let's start with how much. That is, how much income we think we'll need each and every year for the rest of our lives, including all the activities we want to enjoy during our retirement, like travel, recreation, and entertainment. Plus the cost of housing, including repair and maintenance, taxes, insurance, and utilities, as well as the cost of healthcare, including expenses not covered by Medicare.
Enjoy safe, secure lifetime income of 5 to 9% for life, depending on age and deferral period, with no fee deductions and no annuitizing. Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so let's compare free in Scottsdale. For more, visit IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com.
Will Shakespeare here. Back in my day, I invented over 1,700 slang words like swagger, bedazzled, and my personal favorite, besmirch. But even I have trouble understanding slang words like yeet or bougie or
this is fire.
Actually, it is extremely smooth Shakespeare vodka.
Okay, boomer.
See what I mean? But there is one word that describes the pure quadruple distilled spirit crafted from an 8th century Polish recipe the first time you try it.
So lit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare vodka. So lit.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
For what? Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 5 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. Got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. As we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale, we have a new texter on the text line who's about to learn something. 8430 says, did you two not watch the Chiefs game? LOL, they did tell us about Kelsey breaking the record. In fact, they spent quite a lot of time on air about it. Yes, see, what I was doing there was called being silly. I was being sarcastic. Yes, I know they showed it on the graphics a bunch of damn times over and over and over again. 8430. Some of these will be jokes. But yes, of course, constantly. That's all they could talk about. I was just.
It would be a similar joke if Jeffrey had said, "I almost didn't notice Taylor Swift there."
Taylor Swift was there? What?
It's a similar thing.
Yeah, he says, yeah, they showed a graph and even told us we needed one more to tie. And he says, yeah, and they also they did tell us it was a drone that caused the timeout. Well, they did do that later on, yes. And he says, I'm driving, sent from my car. And he says, I love you guys, LOL. Who the hell are you? You need a text or nickname. And it's not that it's not that we don't love you. We're just not in love with you. So we don't know who you are yet.
We can work towards it.
We could fall in love with you if we knew who the hell you were.
But also,
or if you need a text or nickname or you have an idea, just let us know. If you love us, you know what we're asking for.
That better be some text to speech there, my friend. Don't text and drive. Just saying.
I think what happened was he probably texted when he was sitting still, heard us talking about it, and then that button you hit says I'm driving, so you don't have to say anymore.
Yeah, just be safe out there.
Rico Suave says, what's up, fellas? Can you wish my daughter, Jedediah, a happy 8th birthday? Absolutely. Happy birthday, Jedediah. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Sure her name is Jedediah?
That's what it says right here. Jeddidiah. Did I say it wrong?
I don't know how else you would
the
say
daughter's
that.
name is Jedediah?
That's what Rico Suave is saying.
Rico Suave has a daughter named Jedediah.
Yeah, it's very unique, and he says yes, it is.
Does he call her the Jedi?
Oh, that's pretty good because Jedi is short for Jedediah.
Hmm.
Do you call her the Jedi? He says yes. I don't know if that was yes to the Jedi or not. It's a cool name.
It's a very cool
name.
It's
unique. You don't
call
hear
her the Jedi. Has she faced the evil empire before?
Well, if she's a Jedi, the threat of facing the evil empire is a near constant issue for her.
Well, Jedediah, Jedi. Can anybody say Darth Vader?
I'm sure she can say Darth Vader. She's 8 years old.
Well, I mean,
I don't know if she's ready to face Darth Vader. You remember what Darth Vader did to a bunch of kids her age?
Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, it wasn't
Does
pretty.
that ring any bells to you?
You're about to give her some sort of PTSD because of what Anakin Skywalker did to a bunch of kids.
Well, I mean, Anakin
Don't you remember
Skywalker-
Order 68 or 7 or whatever it was? Go ahead, Keon, say it. Show your geek flag. Which order was it?
Well, I actually don't know off the top of my head.
Order 66.
Order 65.
No.
62.
Maybe.
Order
I don't know.
Order 62.
Somebody out there has to know.
Come on, Keon. What was it?
I bet Jedediah knows.
Jedediah?
I know more Star Trek things than Star Wars things. I'm actually
What?
not particularly-
Keon.
I'm just
I
saying.
thought you were a Star a Wars guy, not a Star Trek guy.
I like both.
I like them both too. I just have watched much more Trek.
There's something on the on the wing.
It's Twilight Zone. Rico Suave, yes. Happy 8th birthday to Jedediah, keeping
right.
the universe safe from the Sith and the Darth this and that. So,
Yeah.
say hi to the Emperor for us.
Yeah.
George confirms it was Order 66. I don't know.
That's what
Navy
I said.
Brad. Here comes all the
66.
dorks.
Yeah.
Here come all the nerds.
I'm pretty sure I said 66.
Yeah, I think I said 66.
No,
So-
I think I said it.
So Tiger Paws says of the person who was 8430 who was texting in about me being silly. She says maybe his texter nickname should be Mr. Obvious. Well, that's up to him. That is up to him, Tiger Paws. You got to pick yours. Another new texter on the text line, and that is 8718, says, I was at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Billy Sims came around, sweep to the right, and his knee got hung up in the old sticky AstroTurf. Never played again. He was a stud. Shocked that some on your panel never heard of him. First off, we have a panel.
Listen, I know of Billy Sims. I don't know about these two guys, but I know of them.
I'm very young. That's all I can say.
That's true. I am
young.
the senior. I'm the senior guy on the show.
Randy is really old. Like Werther's original in the pocket. Old.
Billy Sims' last game was 6 years before I was born. So
I thought he tried out for the Rams.
Chief Skull says, wasn't Billy Sims the Tybo guy?
Oh, yeah. Same name.
No,
that's Billy
Sims.
Blanks. That's Billy Blanks.
Yeah, that was somebody.
No.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Keon. That wasn't Billy Sims. That's Billy Blanks.
No, Kiss the Cook. We can't use that as the texture nickname. But you know this by the fact I'm not reading it out loud. Against the Spread says it's a terrible idea to allow any drones above sports events, regardless if they're network cameras. It'd be the next to impossible to distinguish the friend from foe if the enemy attacks. Remember, low tech beats high tech every time. Well, I might be wrong. It may have been that there were 5 different drones that they had to deal with that weren't CBS. But here's the thing. If you have a drone and you're trying to get an aerial, you just don't put it above the fans or the field, but you can get it up to an altitude where it can see down into the stadium without having anybody in danger.
See, I think during these NFL games and other sporting events, baseball games, outdoor NHL games, I don't think you can, Jeffrey. I don't think you can be over that airspace. I think that is a protected airspace.
I think if you're in broadcast and you've got the agreements with whoever you need to have
if you're in broadcast, yes. Yeah. If you're in broadcast, yes.
Sure. That's what I'm talking about. Against the Spread says, glad I told you guys to take Detroit to cover instead of winning. I remembered that when I was watching the game, and you had it right. Dan, the gambling man, Campbell's hard-ass head got in the way of a victory. He left 6 points in the field because he was too stupid to let his kicker do his job. Sorry about the Baltimore Ravens pick, but Ravens' butthole puckered up before kickoff, and that was the only playoff pick I gave out this that lost this postseason. Everything else hit. Hope everyone made some money, and I will give out my Super Bowl pick the Friday before the game. Stay smart and practice your money management.
So,
thanks,
guys,
Spread.
Is Lamar going to be like Kelly?
You have to get to the game.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like that. I think this is a situation where you just have Patrick Mahomes playing the role of Michael Jordan, where it's just you could be a talented quarterback, but it's unfortunate. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, that's the guy you have to go through every year to go to a Super Bowl.
But once again, John Harbaugh does not have them ready to go.
I don't know that that's the case.
Yeah. He did not have those guys ready to go.
They weren't. I thought they were.
Randy,
offense.
Randy, what happened to them was right between the ears. I think that they folded mentally.
I think there was some mental stuff, and I think that Todd Monken, your newly minted first year offensive coordinator, the pressure got to him, and he got out of character really fast.
They did not look like the Ravens all year long. They had a running game. And everybody knows the Chiefs are susceptible to a running game, and they did not come out trying to run the football.
Yeah, but and that's, I think, on the offensive coordinator more. John Harbaugh is not there to micromanage every little thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
the
sit here and
coach.
say,
You could start to see stuff and say, hey, shouldn't we be running this ball more with Gus?
Yeah, potentially. But once you fall behind, no, you can't.
Why didn't he say that sooner, though? Why didn't he say that? What are we doing? Why are we trying to match pass for pass with Kansas City? Why aren't we doing what we've done all year long?
I don't know why he didn't say that. We have no idea what was on the sideline, so we can't say. But I'm not going to sit here and say that John Harbaugh didn't have those guys ready to play, because they did look ready to play. They didn't lose by 20. They lost by 7.
Yeah,
and
they lost by 7.
Zay Flowers doesn't leave the football hanging out there. Maybe they don't. I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but that's not They weren't ready to play, so they got beaten. It
I
was
don't- I
the
don't think
Chiefs
so.
were better, more experienced, and that's
they
it.
were more ready for sure. They were damn well ready.
Well, somebody has to lose the game. I don't know that that's true.
I guess they were
I
more
know
ready
that,
to
but-
win.
because
but I
the
think
Ravens defense
they
showed
were
up.
ready. They were ready to beat the Ravens. They knew what the Ravens were going to do before the Ravens knew.
I don't think
And-
that's true because
well,
that
they-
touchdown happened. Look, there were multiple opportunities that the Ravens simply didn't capitalize on, and it wasn't the Chiefs were like, "Yeah, we were ahead of them." Like, no, like there were two great defenses going at each other, and we got a one possession game at the end, and somebody had to lose it.
I mean, look, I respect and honor your insight, but what I saw was the Ravens were not ready to play football. They were not ready to face the Chiefs. That's my humble opinion.
No, they
I
were
just see it a
flat.
little
They-
differently than you.
They started out nice, but they got flat, and that's why I say that sort of disintegrated in their head.
Yeah,
but
that-
you might be right.
To me, that seemed like pressure. Like the when the plays
Could
that
be.
they were
Could
trying
be.
to run weren't working. They
Could
got
be.
tight.
Yeah.
The
They
offensive
crumbled.
coordinator got tight. Lamar got tight. You know, everybody not named Zay Flowers up until the moment Zay Flowers joined them all.
Yeah.
Also
Well,
got
I was looking at the camera shots in the second half, and they were showing Monken, and I said, "That's not a good look." My son even he was over watching the game with me, and he said, "I don't like that look from Todd Monken."
And so I
That
hope,
looks like a guy that's just really panicking right now.
I hope he learned from it. He's done this at the highest level of college football. NFL is just different.
This is the wrong time to learn, I'll tell you that much. Dr. Jones says Jedediah is actually a Hebrew name, means beloved of God, and that's a good name.
That's
Yes, it is.
also,
Yeah.
why didn't he say, "Hey, cover 87, cover number 87"?
Well, because that's
Well,
easier said than done. Did you see some of the
I had
catches that guy made?
I mean,
Yeah, they
time
were
had
exceptional.
Every time they had a zone defense, I mean, Travis Kelce was out there finding his spot. I don't know why they did not put a ghost on 87.
The reason,
Don't you guys know by now?
Look,
this guy's going to find a spot in the zone.
the thing is, you kind of have to pick your poison with that Chiefs offense.
Ah,
You do, because the other option is if you take somebody else to cover Travis Kelce, that's exactly what they want to do. Because now Mahomes is going deep, and the Ravens have all year, at least the defensive side of the ball stayed consistent. The Ravens are like, F you, we're not letting you go deep. You can have anything underneath you want. You can't go deep.
Well-
And you know what? They only gave up 17 points. Like this, they didn't get crushed out there.
yeah, but they only scored 10 points.
Well, yeah, but we're not talking about that with who was covering Travis Kelce. I mean, Travis
Mm.
Kelce made 11 catches, and about 7 of them were difficult catches that he just made plays.
Chief Skulls says Randy's absolutely right. Again, give that man a week off. Over sporting events is protected airspace for fear of terrorist attacks.
Well, yeah, if
Yeah,
someone has
but
a drone
they
with bad
also-
intentions, you just
They
don't want that
also
over.
let blimps go over the airspace
Yeah,
of,
but-
of the so.
But if
as
it's
long
an-
as you're
if
not
it's an
directly
official-
over it,
Like, I'm pretty sure, like, anything that goes over the stadium has had permission prior to the game to go over the stadium. Some guy a couple of blocks away with his drone most likely did not have permission to fly his drone over the stadium. So you can't.
Against the Spread says the Ravens abandoned the run like a redheaded stepchild during depression. Once you become one-dimensional team, your chances to lose dramatically increase.
And look, the Ravens did it to the Texans the week before. The Texans came out and they played really well in that first half.
Mm.
And then the Ravens started to pull away and the pressure gets to you and they're more inexperienced. And you start to find yourself falling behind in some of those games.
Sun Devil Raul says John Harbaugh is a good special teams coach. When he was Andy Reid's assistant on the Eagles, he was a special teams guy.
Yeah.
Desert Viking says the NFL is rigged. I can picture it now. Chiefs will somehow end up with another Super Bowl despite lots of controversial penalties. After the game, I can picture the interview with Travis and Taylor. What are you guys going to do now that you won the Super Bowl? Travis pulls out a small jewelry case from behind his back. Crowd roars. We're going to get our 6th vaccination. Proceeds to pull a needle out of the jewelry case and vaccinates Taylor live on TV. The NFL finally gets what they wanted.
I guess. I don't know. Someone was going to have a conspiracy theory no matter
What?
who got there.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories in that one text.
Yeah, and I don't know that all of them aren't that some of them don't conflict with each other. But anyway, the FAA, by the way, it is illegal to do this. Not just against like NFL stipulations. Like you if you fly any vehicle within 3 nautical miles of any stadium with a seating capacity of 30,000 or more people, that is federally restricted.
But I feel like they can get exemptions for stuff like broadcast. And
Yeah, I think
it's
that- yeah.
doable and safe if you're not directly over the top. I feel like there's going to be
Yeah.
some exemptions, or else
it is.
How do you explain the blimps? You
Yeah,
know what
no,
I'm
they,
saying?
they do get permission. Like
Yeah.
it is that. But if you are just random Joe Schmo, you can't fly your drone over the stadium.
Swave Dave says, "What's the name Billy Sims in the intro by the Beatles on the Sgt. Pepper album? To get by with a little help from my friends."
Shears. Billy
Thank you.
Shears.
Pierre says, execute l'ordre 66. Boy, even the French guy knows. I didn't even have to hit the translate button on that. These French guys, very, very. Well, we would do the same as what the children did. They would surrender and be massacred. Hefty Lefty wants you to know, he's like, I like you guys like a friend, not like you. I'm married. Fair enough, Hefty Lefty. We weren't even thinking about you.
We respect boundaries
Thank you.
here.
Yeah.
Quiet Cannon says there should have been adjustments made at halftime by the coaching staff for the Ravens. First adjustments would be to make sure Travis Kelce was pressured. Second of all, change the game plan so the Ravens could get their offense going. Make some adjustments.
I thought they did.
I mean, nobody
Flowers.
touched Travis Kelce when he left the line of scrimmage. He had the one block, and that was it. He released, and he went out and ran his. There
That's
was
not
no
true.
second guy there. What?
That's not true, man. He had a guy draped over him when he spun around backwards and sat down to catch that touchdown in the end zone. There were some guys who actually put good coverage on
He
Travis.
made
Kelce.
2 catches in traffic, and like he's just like not getting any credit for that right now.
But I'm talking about right at the line of scrimmage. I'm talking about somebody that's going to stop him at the line of scrimmage and knock him off his route. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about later on defending him. I'm talking about knocking him off his route.
I'm just
Be
saying,
with him the whole time.
every person you put dedicated towards Travis Kelce is somewhere on the field that is not being covered. And Patrick Mahomes' arm is too good to allow that to happen. And the
No,
Ravens just aren't going to
I
let you do it.
I don't know. Respectfully, I'll say this. You're not going to get to Patrick Mahomes, so put somebody on Travis Kelce. Take away his weapons. Figure out a way to take away his weapons and let him try to figure it out. And if he can't, he throws it away. That's what he does. Or he runs, and then he runs out of bounds. I'm just saying.
It's not about getting to Mahomes. It's about stopping those other targets he can throw the football to.
Well, that's what I just said. If the Ravens would have studied some tape, they would have known this.
I am sure that they did. The scheme was wonderful. They held a team to 17 points. I don't know what you want them to do. They need to score more than 17. Defense did his job.
A's fan says, I do some drone cam flying for work, and I can tell you guys it's basically illegal to fly them just about everywhere within city limits without special permission nowadays. But you can get special permissions. That's all I'm trying to say. Jonesy says, what cornerback is going to stop Travis Kelce on the line of scrimmage? The guy is massive.
Well, I don't
that's
think you need
also
a
a good
cornerback.
point.
I think you need a linebacker. But go ahead.
You're going to pull a linebacker off the middle of the field just to kind of chase that guy, then you're going to get burned. I mean, that is going to happen. Listen, we have to take a break. When we come back, we got it. Listen, this is just the way this show works. Here we are at 5:19, and we haven't even talked about the second game yet. We've had 2.5 damn hours, and we are still behind with 2 games. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Free air-chilled boneless chicken breasts and 4 juicy boneless pork chops with your order. OmahaSteaks.com/VSIN. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Super Bowl 58 set for February 11th in Las Vegas. The Kansas City Chiefs making their 4th appearance in the past 5 years, going up against San Francisco, who's making their 8th appearance in franchise history. Patrick Mahomes is the betting favorite to be the MVP of Super Bowl 58, plus 130. San Francisco quarterback Brock Purdy, plus 210. Christian McCaffrey of the 49ers is plus 480 to win the MVP, while Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce is at plus 2,000. San Francisco wide receiver Deebo Samuel returned from a shoulder injury, is at plus 3,800. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Can't sleep with this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need NyQuil Severe Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste.
Feeling better, honey? Honey? I'll take that as a yes.
Try NyQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu symptom relief. NyQuil Severe with honey flavor. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever. Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
80% of youth in Arizona don't drink, smoke, or use drugs. Want to know the reason why? It's you. Kids say not disappointing their parents is one of the main reasons they choose not to drink or use drugs. Visit TalkNowAZ.com because while you might worry you aren't getting through, you are. Keep it up and stay up to date about the latest Arizona drug trends at TalkNowAZ.com. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
If you're rolling over your 401k to an IRA soon, but not sure if you want to go all in on this crazy market, here's what many retiring professionals are doing. How about a safe and secure IRA offering a contractually guaranteed 10% income bonus that grows 7% annually guaranteed? Your income can double in 10 years. Meanwhile, neither your principal nor your retirement income is ever subjected to a market downturn. Even if the market crashes by 50%, you get the 10% bonus. Your income keeps growing at 7%, and your principal may grow without losses uncapped. You go up with the index, never down, forward, never back. Get a 10% income bonus with a 7% contractually guaranteed growth rate. I compare over 1,200 annuities with a fiduciary duty and can help you retire and stay retired.
Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so compare with leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now. Visit IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com.
Hi, I'm Ralph Romano.
And I'm Neil Lynch.
We've been friends for over 30 years now.
Wait. Over 30 years?
Yes, you are that old. And we have a new show called The Weekend Warrior starting this Saturday.
We'll discuss national and local sports, and we'll talk about some sports that you don't hear about much.
We'll also interview like local athletes, coaches, sports-related business owners, and we're going to share their stories.
We look forward to sharing these great stories and hanging out with you.
It's The Weekend Warrior starting this Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Hey, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic, and Mr. Wilbur says what Randy is trying to say is that if Randy was covering Travis Kelce, he'd knock him down, stand over him, and point at him until the referee threw a flag. Next play, Randy would do it again just to let Travis know that Randy is the boss. I can see it.
I mean, I don't know about that, but I'm just saying, knock him off his route. Get somebody up there with some cojones that's going to take him off his route. It's not going to buy into his mouth and take him off his route.
Who would that be? Like
me. I'll do it.
Like if you take the linebacker,
anybody with a set of berries can go over there and cover Travis Kelce.
They'd have to be steel ones. I'll tell you that.
Because Travis Kelce mossed like 2 guys in that game.
Okay.
It's just
okay.
I just don't know what you're asking them to do.
Travis Kelce does a kind of block and then runs his route.
Okay,
Nobody else is there to block him. Nobody.
We got to move on. We can't talk about Travis Kelce all damn day because we've got to talk about the 49ers and the Lions. And of course, that right there. By the way, Chief Skull wants to know if Donnie and Fish Tank settled their disagreement and if Boogie is still alive after this game. Haven't heard from Boogie yet, but I know Fish Tank and Donnie will never settle their argument. That's my prediction on that. But back to the game, 49ers, it looked like they'd lost that game. They were down by a lot, and it looked bad. And you're like, what happened to the 49ers? There's no life. And you're like, do something already. And they tried to do something, and they failed. And then the second half came around, and then all of a sudden, exactly what I had said on Friday about this team. They have too much talent and too many places to go. And they just methodically and professionally just deconstructed the Lions, and 27 consecutive points in the second half. They exhausted the Lions defense. And yeah, Dan Campbell made some suspect decisions doing what he was doing. But, do we blame him? I think you have to. I think you have to put the blame on him. There's a lot of the Lions fans who are like, he's just doing what he's done from the very beginning. This is what they did to get here. So, of course, he's going to keep doing what he's doing. But I said this before where he had, remember that play where they had all those second chances at that 2-point conversion? And you're like, just kick the ball, man. Just kick the ball and go to overtime. And he was just, no. And that's his mode. So you can't be surprised that he made those decisions, but you can judge and say that were bad decisions.
I feel like you're right, Jeffrey. I think that Dan Campbell has a way of coaching. That's his style. Remember Riverboat Ron? Keon, you remember. This is a guy that would go for it on, fourth and short, even if it meant, he was going to lose the game or he wouldn't kick the field goal. He would go for it. And I think Dan Campbell's the same way. I think he felt like he was here. It's hard to get here. He was here one time. He's going to try to trust his offense to get him a first down or a score. And they're going to battle on. The problem that I have with this game, in the second half, it seemed like the receivers, including Amon-Ra St. Brown, didn't catch the damn ball. Balls were in their hands, and they couldn't catch them for some reason.
I don't hear anybody blaming Jared Goff.
No, I don't think it was
I
Jared
really
Goff.
hear anybody blaming the receivers for the Lions. It's just there were some circumstances where they could have kicked a field goal. And then if they'd done that, there would have been a tie. And if they'd done the other one, there would have been a win, at least if things had continued as they were.
I think with first off, Dan Campbell is everything that people said Riverboat Ron was. Like, he is genuinely insane because none of those decisions were good decisions, but he's always been incredibly aggressive with his play calling. And it's why they're here. So you live with the ups and downs of Dan Campbell, and you hope that the downs of Dan Campbell, the worst part of some of his philosophy as a coach, don't sneak up and catch you at the worst time. I just don't think that the 49ers are the kind of team you can afford to give multiple opportunities to beat you, because they will do it.
Swave Dave says the Lions are like Charlie Brown or Rodney Dangerfield. No matter what, they get no respect. Listen, I got a lot of respect for the Lions, and I got a lot of respect for the coach, Dan Campbell, but you got to learn from the earlier mistakes in the season. In these, when you should have kicked, but you went for it, or you should have punt. I'm not even talking about punting. We're just talking about times that you go for it and times you kick the field goal. And those times cost them a trip to the Super Bowl now. So now you hope that he learns as much as you would hope that people who play for him would learn from mistakes.
I understand why he did it. I kind of shake my head. You have an opportunity to extend the game, possibly win the game, take the points, man, and save the heroics for later in the game.
And I understand doing it that way if you're the one behind. Yeah, I understand doing it if you're the underdog and you need everything to win this game and you're, got your back against the ropes. But when you are in control of the football game, that is the kind of stuff you can't do. And they just
right.
He couldn't help himself. And that's the part that if I'm a Lions fan, I'm kind of mad about today. Is just that Dan Campbell could have at least given them a better chance to win this game, and he couldn't help himself.
Suffering A's fan says, I think both these games proved how much playoff experience matters. Both teams that have been deep in the playoffs stayed calm and made the plays, and the two that haven't floundered and choked. That's a true story.
I mean, I don't know about John Harbaugh and the Ravens. John Harbaugh has been to the Super Bowl a couple of times. Is that what he's saying?
It's been a while,
but it's been a little bit. Like,
Well,
this is not the same team that went. Like
Right.
Harbaugh's been there, but I'm not. He's
there
not.
with Flacco.
He can't go out there and make the plays. His offensive coordinator hadn't been there before.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But doesn't the quarterback have some authority to change the play on the fly? Kind of. Either it's a handoff here or it's a pass play. I mean, if the pass is here, you take it. If not, you do this. Those kind of plays.
Yeah, but I think that's part of growing for Lamar Jackson.
So I think it's Lamar Jackson. I don't know that it's John Harbaugh.
Lamar had a lack of experience in there, but his first time in the playoffs, they lost. And then they go, they're the number 1 seed. They lose at home, and coming off a bye week, and then they're now getting that win. They're advancing in the playoffs. Like sometimes it's just steps for a team. And they'll learn from this. And you hope that your window is still open as you're learning these lessons, because there's only one way to learn how to be in the playoffs, which is be in the playoffs. And sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
In the game, Brock Purdy didn't always look great, but he always looked poised. He never looked rattled, and he always looked professional. 20 for 31, 267 yards, 1 touchdown, but he did throw that 1 interception. And, I think he did an okay job. I mean, thank God they got Chris McCaffrey to hand off to. Thank God that Deebo Samuel came back. I'm not dissing on Brock Purdy, but even Brock Purdy probably tell you wasn't his best outing.
It probably wasn't in the first half, but the second half, I mean, he did a great job of, if the play wasn't there, he went ahead and used his legs, and what legs he has. I mean, how many times did he advanced the football using his legs?
He ran, but he ran like a milk truck. He ain't fast, faster than Tom Brady, but he ain't fast.
Well, he's not lightning quick, but I mean, at least the guy knows, he's got the smarts to know when to pull the ball down and move it forward. And he did that a few times, and I congratulate him on that. I think he did a great job in the second half. The first half, a little shaky. And that listen, that Ayuk reception should have been a pick. I don't know what that cornerback was doing. It hit him right in the face.
Well, he's being a cornerback.
But oh my God,
if you can catch it, on the other side of the ball.
Listen, when teams get that kind of a break, it's their night.
Yeah, and Sun Devil Raul's like, Purdy played amazing in the second half. Jeffrey, I don't know if I'd say amazing, but he did. He played better in the second half. The entire team together played better in the second half, offense and defense, included.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm talking about the entirety of what he just did there, because that is what you're going to be looking at 2 weeks from now. The entirety of what he's able to do in a game is important, and the consistency of what the 49ers will or will not do in a game is going to be important, because you just saw what being inconsistent against the Chiefs is going to get you. It's going to get you an L. So Purdy's got to he's got to do better if they have any hope of winning the Super Bowl. But I'm not dissing him. Yes, you're right. Kiss the Cook. He's like, hey, I'm not a Vaginers fan. I don't think we're going to call him that. But he says, I'm ready for the Brock party that's going to happen in Queen Creek. Yeah, listen, a lot of people are pulling for him. Yes, like we said, those roided out lawyers put up a billboard that says supporting him. And we're like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, even though this is Cardinals country. But, he's a hometown boy, and we all hope for him. We all wish him well. Of course we do. It would be a great story all the way around. Wish him nothing but good things. That said, I'm not being super critical. I'm just saying he looked kind of shaky on some of his passes. He threw an interception. There were times where he did have some pressure. He kept his poise. It didn't seem to get to him, and he made adjustments. And then the next time he was able to react accordingly. So, he might not have played great, but he played where it mattered. So
do you think these guys take into consideration, like for example, Goff, Jared Goff, his tight end is hurt, Laporta. He's got a big brace on his left foot or his left leg. He's running his pass, and it seems like he just overthrew him. I don't know, 5 times yesterday. Instead of taking into consideration, maybe he's a step and a half slower than what he was before, and if he just took a little off. I mean,
I don't think Goff is very smart, to be honest.
Well,
remember, this is the guy who said this. He wasn't sure which part of the sky the sun rose and set in. And I honestly don't know that those waters don't run very deep, Randy. So he's a good quarterback. He's got the mechanics. He does what he's told. He does what he's told. And if they say, throw that ball to that big Laporta guy, he's going to do like he's been doing all season.
Yeah, but
it ain't registering up there to maybe take a little bit off the ball.
I mean, help me out, Keon. Was I wrong in seeing that maybe like 4 or 5 times he overthrew Laporta and he could have had him, but if he would have taken a little off of it and maybe gave a little attention to that knee brace on his left knee, maybe he would have hit him and he would have had a chance to catch that ball.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think that with Jared Goff, like sometimes there's just a lot of muscle memory involved. You practice throwing to this guy at one speed over and over and over again. And then suddenly in a high pressure situation, you go back to the thing you've always been doing. And that is throwing to Sam Laporta a certain way that he wasn't able to adjust to. Yeah. And that's something you consciously have to do. And I don't know how easy that is to do in a game. Of that
we're
magnitude.
Agreeing with you, Randy, but I'm just saying I don't think Goff is smart enough to make those adjustments that fast.
To me, that's unfortunate. There was a couple of probably 2 touchdowns he could have had with Laporta, and he overthrew him by like 2 steps. Oh my God.
Hurry Harry says at times Purdy looked like the last pick, but boy, he came through in that second half. Absolutely
Sure
right.
did. Yeah.
He says, by the way, fun fact, Christian McCaffrey's dad, Ed, played for Kyle's dad, Mike, at Denver.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ed McCaffrey, great tight end. Solid tight end.
Rough Rob says, so the Lions lost. Is the city of Detroit okay? The rest of it didn't get burned down, did it? Yeah, I didn't hear of anything like that. No, they'll only burn that down if they win.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah.
Against the spread says you absolutely cannot go for it on 4th down in good field goal range when you're down 3 points with 6 minutes left. I think there were 7 yards to go too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's inexcusable because you can't allow a 2-point possession lead for the other team because it's over if that happens. You're playing against the clock and the opponent at that time. The Lions could have took back some momentum and gave their team a chance to win late in a tight game. Bottom line, Dan Campbell has a short circuit in his mind, and it costs his team a chance to win. I call it the Tin Cup effect. It was just like in Tin Cup where he's like, go for it again, go for it again, go for it again in that 2-point try, and it showed up again yesterday. And they got the L for their efforts.
This is the kind of stuff that in like 3 years, if Dan Campbell can't change his mentality, won't change, is unable to for whatever reason, when we go, Dan Campbell's a really good coach, why are the Lions choosing to fire him? It's going to be stuff like that where it's just like any other coach in that position would have made the right decision.
You know what they need to do? All they have to do is talk him in to stop doing this. That's all they have to do. The rest of it's great.
I don't
know. The rest of his coaching is great.
I don't know if you can, because there are times where you should.
Then you say,
and it's all situational.
If you can't stop doing this, we are going to have to make a change. You've got to start playing that aspect of the game differently, or we have to make a change.
Yeah, and I'm sure that could be a conversation that'll be had, but like people just don't change that easily. And when they're successful, and that success is the result of them being a certain way, telling them to stop doing that just in time to, quite frankly, help them be more successful, but they're not capable of doing it sometimes.
The good news is Randy is on the phone telling Dan Campbell to knock it the hell off right now. He should have made this call sooner, but at least it's being done. We got to take a break. We'll be back. More of this Daily Blender after this here on 1580 The Fanatic.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go: shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it.
And now get a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended Silver Unlimited plan. Find us at straighttalk.com. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only, excludes taxes and fees.
Don't be fooled by the people you meet on social media. It may start as an innocent conversation, but anyone who tries to sell you pills is nothing more than a drug dealer. And if you think tiny pills can't do much harm, think again. Fentanyl can end it all. Know the truth about fentanyl at learnmoreaz.org. Don't be fooled. Don't be faked out. Visit learnmoreaz.org. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Steve Jurich here. After working in financial services for over 20 years, I finally confirmed what investors really want, including me. And it's simple. All they're asking for is 20% annual return with no risk at 100% liquidity. Here's the problem. A money market is safe and liquid, but offers almost zero yield. Mutual funds and ETFs are liquid with upside potential, but aren't safe. A carefully selected next generation index annuity through IQ Wealth may offer 10% ample liquidity, principal protection, and a lifetime income yield potentially double to triple that of quality bonds. By yielding more income using fewer dollars, our system allocates more money for you for capital growth. It's a winning combination.
Call leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now. 480-902-3333. Guarantees rely on the claims paying ability of the insurer, so compare with Steve. 480-902-3333. Call Steve now.
This is Brent Musburger. Don't miss Betting Across America, Saturdays at 11 a.m. right here on Arizona Sports Betting Station, 1580 and 99.3. The Fanatic.
Hey, you want to see my Eminem impersonation? There we go, right there. Yeah, he had that for all the 49er fans in their own house. He was up in one of the boxes, and well, he didn't have that same Taylor Swift likability at all. She was just like, "Please go away with the camera," and then Eminem's like, "Right there for you, both of you. I got both for you." Okay, whatever. I guess we won't have to worry about Eminem versus Taylor Swift because the Detroit Lions went home. By the way, bad day for Jerry Rice. All his records getting broken. He had to deal with what happened with the Chiefs, and then over here, Christian McCaffrey, he surpassed his record for most touchdowns in a season, including playoffs. So Christian McCaffrey took that away from him. But Jerry Rice is just like sitting there. He's like, son of a bitch. This is not right. All these extra games in the season is not fair.
Well, these are postseason records, I think, right?
No, this is including playoffs.
Okay. But I think with Jerry Rice, I think you should still be proud. Like, they're tweaking all of these rules. The league has spent the greater part of the last 12, 13 years making the game easier to play offense. And your records are just now being broken. And it's easier to do the thing that you did when it was tougher. They weren't throwing the ball as much back in your day. And I don't think Jerry Rice has anything to be mad about, man. Still the greatest.
Just like, leave me a record, just one, please. It'd just be nice. Just leave me one. Rico Suave says that Purdy is a game manager only. Are you talking about Purdy or are you talking about Goff? Because you didn't say for sure. I think he might be referring to Purdy. Clarify that, please. Hurry Harry says Goff, first pick in the draft, got showed how to make adjustments by last pick in the draft. Yeah,
Well,
but he didn't.
yeah, and also Goff first pick in the draft, literally being coached by a man who is so stubborn he can't adjust when faced with the same situation back to back times. I don't know that that's necessarily fair to say.
Navy Brad says for Super Bowl 58, here is the score 27-25. Can't pick a team yet. That's a very specific score
for not knowing who has what score.
How do you get to 25? Somebody had a safety? What? How do you get to 25? I can't 2-point convert. What?
Oh, yeah, you could miss an extra point.
25 is such an odd score for a football game, Navy Brad. Dr. Jones says if you double Purdy's second half stats, he would have been 26 for 32 for 346. Why would I double his second half stats? His stats are his stats, Dr. Jones.
That's not how football works.
He says, I think you're selling his second half short, but I agree. He was shaky. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. He's got poise. He got it figured out, straightened it out. Second half was enough to come back. That was a hell of a comeback. I'm not trying to take that away.
As a longtime Jimmy Garoppolo hater, I will tell you that Jimmy Garoppolo would have folded. Like if he had a first half like that and they were behind like that, the game's over and San Francisco's going home. Brock Purdy is a mentally tougher human being.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very, very tough. Oh man, unflappable.
And I'll give him that every time.
Suffering A's fan says in the regular season, yeah, sure, go for those ballsy moves. But when you're in the championship game, unless it's inches to go, you take the points. Pierre says, I agree with you guys. Reverend Dan Campbell lost the Lions the game yesterday with his antics. The Lions would have won the game if he had scored the basket both times. He attempted it on the fourth down. It's not a basket. It's a touchdown or a field. Anyway, poor Detroit fans. Another year for the total sadness. I think that's a little bit dripping with something because Pierre made it very clear he hates Detroit.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, Canada hates Detroit. CK says Jerry Rice is fine. He still has like 20 other records out there. Does he? All right. I feel like you do. There's only so many records you can have. Number one Rattlers fan says also, you say Jerry Rice will be upset over losing a record. Don't worry. He's got a bunch more. He'll never be broke either. All right. All right. Sun Devil Raul says, I will admit I am dorky. Man, there are a lot of dorks in the Blender text world, though. Okay. I mean, what's the difference? That's a good point. What's the difference? People who know everything about sci-fi or people who know everything about football, it's the same kind of thing. So we can all appreciate each other, I think.
Yeah. It's one of the funnier, it's an old commercial now, but the Espen commercials where they had a bunch of guys going over like the deep baseball stats, just the analytics that no one is using, and then a bunch of guys come over just from playing D&D and look at them and go nerds, and and then keep going. Like it's a similar enough.
Yeah, we all have our nerddom.
I call those guys baseball writers.
Randy don't like them.
Also true.
Hurry Harry says Ed needs to mature as a coach. Ed?
I think you mean Dan, probably.
Oh, yeah. Humility will allow him to accept feedback and grow. And I don't know if he has it in him. I don't think know that Dan Campbell's like that. I think he might be more stubborn. Yeah. I don't know if it's lack of humility.
I don't think he thinks he's so smart or he's so arrogant. I think that Dan Campbell is a person who believes in hard work and being aggressive, and those are the things that got him to where he is in his career. And so he can't not do them. It's not that he thinks that he is somehow above everybody else. He's simply doing what's always worked.
Why is Rough Rob saying, so Marvin Harrison is a serial killer? What are you talking about, Rough Rob? Did some news break about Marvin Harrison being a serial killer? Probably some reaction to something we said. Anyway, so all right, Brock Purdy, unflappable. He's like, hey, nobody was freaking out while we were down 17. Yeah, maybe you're not freaking out, but man, that's a That's a steep hill to climb. And, you can climb that hill, but then the other team's still climbing too. So the fact the 49ers survived that game at all was just huge, just unexpected.
Yeah. And psychologically, I think has to be good for them too, because of the whole narrative of them not being able to play from behind and all this stuff. Like now you get a couple of weeks where now you're able to put that to bed. Now you can go to the Super Bowl. And if you end up behind the Chiefs going into the second half, no panic. Shouldn't.
Navy Brad says, Randy, what would you like to see the Cardinals do this offseason? And while you answer that, I got to walk down the hall and grab Big George Sports History off the printer.
What would I like to see the Cardinals do this offseason? Well, I'd like to see them have a great draft, and I'd like them to pick up Marvin Harrison Jr., and I'd like to see him be our number one wide receiver. I'd like to see more offensive line help. I'd like to see some key defensive pickups. And I think the Cardinals are not that far away from being a team to be reckoned with in the NFC West. That's what I'd like to see the Cardinals do in this offseason.
I would have said get rid of Kyler Murray and draft new quarterback.
I mean, you can. It's just a tougher thing to do.
Did he say that when I was getting down the hall?
He did not say that. No.
Oh, okay.
No. He just roll with the guy you have, and then when it's affordable to move him and you're not stuck with a bunch of dead money, then you reset the clock with a quarterback.
That's exactly what's on my mind, Keon. Thank you.
You've just got a guy if Kyler figures it out.
Sundeva Raul says McBride is our best receiver.
McBride is our best tight end. Yes.
Case the Cook says enough football. All right, let's bring on spring training already. Well, you're a little bit early, Kiss the Cook, but we're getting there
before the Super Bowl, but we'll see what we can do.
Swave Dave says, I think if Dan Campbell realizes his follies regarding field goals and gets a shutdown corner, they might actually be able to do it again next year. I hope they do. I hope they can. I really do. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this out of the way. It's time for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back in the year 1995, Steve Young threw 6 touchdown passes, breaking Joe Montana's single-game Super Bowl record of 5. As the San Francisco 49ers demolished the San Diego Chargers 49-26 in Super Bowl XXIX in Miami, Florida. I don't read the Roman numerals that fast. Chargers have never been back to the Super Bowl. Yeah. And when Steve Young took over at quarterback, as Joe Montana went down for injury, and he's like, oh man, I got to live up to Montana, and then Montana left. And then, of course, by this point, though, he won the regular season and the Super Bowl MVP. So, that took care of that right then and there. So, thank you, Big George. Appreciate that. 888-368-1580. I could feel sorry for Dan Campbell, and I could feel sorry for Lions fans. But you know who I really feel sorry for today? Greg Olson. He just went from making $10 million a year, being the number one play-by-play color commentator, to $3 million a year because he got bumped down because here comes Tommy. Tom Brady is supposed to start next year along with the guy that who is Greg Olson with? I always forget that game.
Kevin Burkhardt, I think.
Oh, yeah, that guy. And so that's going to be the number one team, even though you've never seen Tom Brady do anything. So I don't know why they got to drop him like $7 million a year just because some other guy took his job. They're like, well, we need the money to pay the other guy. But I think Greg Olson's pretty good.
You're CBS. I think you have it.
I think he needs to just say,
Fox.
I'm out.
I think it's Fox.
Or
Yeah,
Fox,
it's Fox.
sorry. You are a giant television network. I think you got the money. The $7 million isn't gonna bankrupt you guys. I don't think.
So, and here's the thing, when they do the focus groups and stuff, Greg Olson, nobody ever hates on him. They always say they're positive or neutral about him, instead of like with Tony Romo, who everybody's like, shut the hell up.
Well, because honestly, whatever level of research and attention to detail that he was bringing early on, Romo doesn't bring it anymore. And like with Olson, he started off pretty decent, but he's been getting better every single time you hear him. I like the way he's kind of going with it, and he clearly cares a ton. He's a well-liked guy because he works hard.
So I kind of feel bad for him. His His gig is changing, but context, $3 million a year, still pretty good.
Still nice.
You know, I mean,
that's a
but
pay
it's-
cut I think I could live with.
But it's not $10 million a year. That's the thing.
Oh, no, yeah, that's it occurs to you. It's like, well, first I made the 10. Well, now I'm making 3. Still, my rent is paid. The groceries are in the fridge. Everything is fine. Unless they start making me pay for my travel, I think we're good. You know, I don't know, but still,
might take you a little longer to get that boat you wanted, but I think you'll be okay.
Boy, the part it's like you're cutting a guy 70%. You're taking 70% of his money.
And it wasn't his fault.
And you're paying the guy that's coming in $350 million.
Just seems
per
wrong.
year. Wait, now how long is that supposed to work? That with that 350 is that 10-year contract? So he's getting 35 million a year.
If it's a 10-year, yeah. Mhm.
Maybe nobody wanted to pay Greg Olson more than 3 million a year.
See how I did that math right there in my head?
That was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, 375 mil over
Did
10
somebody
years.
like
Yeah.
text that to you or something, Randy?
Nope. I did that on my own. My hands never left my body. See?
Sun Devil Raul says, I don't mean to be a hater, but I take sports radio like playing sports. If you're average, what's the big deal? Well, we're pretty average, and we don't know what the hell you're talking about right now.
Very
We're talking
average.
about Greg Olson on TV.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. Thank you very much.
number one Rattlers fan says there's 46 days left until, well, you know.
What?
I don't know.
Spring training?
I guess. What would number one Rattlers fan be trying to tell us? The mystery.
Trying to tell us that baseball starts soon.
That must be. See you guys tomorrow, 3 p.m. Daily Blender, 1580, The Fanatic.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply.